Hey, welcome to the show. Welcome to the Council on Future Conflict, episode 563. Did we update is that the right episode number?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Just double checking. I could have swore that was the one from last time. We're talking about Charlie, of course. Literally, it's the thing that everybody's been thinking about for the last it's not been quite 48 hours yet.
You're right.
But let's be honest. What's that? 40? Because it happened in the afternoon, your time, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It happened around 1 o'clock Mountain, I want to say.
Okay, so 3 o'clock Eastern. Okay. Yeah. So let's be honest, man. This thing has kind of shaken America in a way that only few probably could have really fully understood it. That's the thing that's my big takeaway, right? And I'll pause for a second here before I go into any kind of soliloquies. Joe, how you feeling, brother?
You know what? I'm doing pretty darn good, especially after this event yesterday. Watcher, you have those photos I gave you?
Yes. Give me just a moment.
Let's pop these up. Yesterday, Alan and Linda, the founders of the Northwest Montana Veterans Food Pantry and Camp Ponderosa, and I went to a wrap up of a fundraiser we attended with Willie's Distilling, Whiskey Blades and the Brave. So go ahead and go to the next one, where we received a check from them for the camp. This knife right here is made by my new friends at Rucker Knives. I have this cool cigar from them, from World Trade Center Steel. We sold that one for $17,000. This guy here is he's giving a speech about the event, and I just wanted a photo of Alan and Linda there because they're cool people. Next, I got a bunch of them. This is everyone who was involved, all the charities. It was us. There was a veterans horse charity, who I can't really remember their names. Dog Tag Buddies. And another one here who all received money from this thing. It was put on by Evergreen Liquor and the Buffalo Saloon and Casino, which we'll start taking to at these events. And there is Alan and Linda and I with the sign. In that bigger group photo, Alan claimed that someone touched his butt. I'll be honest, it was me. It's just, I figured it was a Navy guy who would make him happy. But it was really a great event. Over $50,000 was handed out to the 3 different charities. And it was pretty darn cool. And the good folks at the Buffalo Saloon gave us a great lunch. So it was really a great event. We're grateful for the community getting out and doing things. Willie's Distilling has decided to really be involved in the camp here and what we do. And this event will be going forward every year. So next year, watch for me to be talking about it so folks can get a little more involved. So cool things. Hey, by the way, awesome. I know that our chat is fantastic at finding things that we need. We need a dehydrator. So if somebody has a line on a dehydrator, drop me a DM. We need one out here.
All right. Would a homemade wouldn't work?
I don't know. We need to be doing stuff in bulk. So I don't know.
Yeah. All right, that's cool. Don, how you feeling, brother?
I think the most generous that I can be feeling at the moment is the beginning of Psalm 97:10. Let those who love the Lord hate evil.
Well said.
Yeah. I actually just read. I think you just posted that.
Yeah.
Well said. All right. We'll expand on that later. Watcher, how you doing, brother?
This morning I have severed ties with people that I have known since I was in the 3rd grade. I'm doing great. Doing real good.
Let me ask you, Watcher. Are these people? Are they like hardcore like lefties, or are they just like out to
Here's the
lunch.
deal. I severed my connections with all my hardcore lefties a long time ago. As many of you know, I've been preaching that you have to do that. They are literally going to kill you. They will do it with a smile. They will use their connection to you, no matter what it is, familial, family. It doesn't matter. They will use their connection to you in order to get close to you, in order to harm you. That will happen. It's just a matter of time. No. These were people who I thought were just regular people, who are gleefully celebrating his death. And no, I have informed them that we no longer have anything to ever talk about ever again.
Hey, for all of you who are saying Watcher volume, no, there is a very distinct reason for that. If you've looked at Watcher's Twitter feed for the last 24 hours, we're going to have Watcher's volume down a bit because it's about to go up all on its own.
Yeah. And
righteously so, Watcher. Righteously so.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll be honest, man. The amount of not okay I am is actually summed up in an image that I just need to find just real quick. But it is great.
Dirty Mike just became a member. I hope the boys don't. So it's not Dirty Mike and the boys.
Yeah, hold on just a second. Oh, here it is. Yep. The amount of not okay I am is pretty well summed up in this particular photograph.
Yeah. I have to tell you that given some historical interactions, Mrs. Dolio is still not okay and has not been okay from the moment I told her. When I reminded her of a 2020 fact, she was like, "I know that's the problem." I'm like, gotcha. But,
this is actually might be a good place to kick off. Like all of us are, have significant people in our lives, right? How did your wife or close friends or close family or whatever, how are they reacting? Because let's be honest, we are literally like the political guys, but we also married or are close to people who generally share our opinion, but we're the kind of the blowhards at Thanksgiving, if you will. How are the people around you that may be a little less, they're conservative, but they're a little less political? How are they kind of filtering this?
I am I'm choosing not to share that information on the grounds that it may incriminate my wife.
Fair. You don't have to quote her, Watcher. You can just kind of paraphrase.
So, funny enough, the first thing the wife said is exactly what everybody else said. Well, if they're going to put a bullet in him.
Yeah.
I mean, and not a one of you are wrong. All right. Not a single person saying that is wrong to have that thought. It has been wild watching the, oh my God, far right evil Charlie Kirk, and I'm supposed to support him, and the people very rightly saying he was the moderate.
Yeah.
Well, he was the centrist, right? He was the more moderate. Well, not really a centrist, but he was more moderate and more willing to talk than most others. And when you killed that guy, it was pretty bad. And he's always been a pretty legit voice for moderation. He's never been one to call for violence or anything like that, even though the left somehow proclaims him that way. He was always about going out among them and having conversations with them to try and change minds. And because of that, they killed him. And I think that's what bothers my wife the most. And also knowing that 2020 to 2021, I did quite a bit of work for the TPUSA organization. And it's wild, right? I've been doing protection work my whole life, and I've been there for some incidents, including a very well publicized one with another podcast person. But to realize that someone I've interacted with in real life was shot, and I could have been standing there at some point when something like that happened in the U.S. was an eye opener for me. Iraq, Afghanistan, Bosnia, West Africa, that's to be expected. But for this to happen in Orem, Utah, of all places, is the shocker, I guess.
Yeah. Well, this just goes to show you how much like cancerous thoughts and cancerous, ideas have penetrated even what we consider to be fairly conservative areas. It's kind of like that one crazy person up in the UP, right?
Right.
Joe, it's like this stuff is not just in the big cities in, New York City, LA, and Chicago anymore. This is like in every county in America.
Yeah.
Don, what about you? I mean, like, I know you've been in this game of this opinion game for a while. I know a lot of people who probably throw a lot fewer grenades than you do have reached out. What are the people who you've been telling them for years? Listen, you got to get fucking locked in on this shit, and they just have been like, well, mañana, brother. What are people like that coming back to you with now?
A couple of things. One, restart the show immediately. We need to know how to deal with this. Guys, I don't know that anybody wants my opinion at this point. And I say that because while it's gonna feel good, none of you were gonna want to see this through the way that I have for years. All right, because nearly a decade ago, when I said they want you dead and they think it's funny, right? And yes, I was paraphrasing, Sam Hyde. But I wasn't kidding, right? There were very obvious, clear, and overt things that they said and did that made it pretty clear to me, right? And I knew a lot of people from back then that, Don, you're taking X, Y, and Z personally. That's not really how it is. Well, when you got up yesterday and... or, before you went to bed the night before, and 3/4 of the leftist internet was out there screaming with glee. No, they mean it. No, this was not a joke. It was never a joke. All right. One of my favorite little pastimes at the moment has been finding all these leftist streamers who are out there going, oh my God, tone down the rhetoric.
Yeah.
And it takes 5 seconds to find Destiny. Oh my God, I can't believe that guy didn't train enough to hit Trump. Oh, a firefighter died? What state? Pennsylvania? Swing state. Got him. No.
Yeah.
They weren't kidding. Okay? They were never kidding.
Well, this is like...
Call people a Nazi and a fascist for 10 years and then say, oh my gosh, it's both sides, so we need to tone down the rhetoric. Nope, it's one side, and you own this now. You own what is happening.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm
so real quick, let's... We got a whole segment.
Stop. I had to interrupt you. Pleb wife is in the chat. The cannoli question, I hope you were serious because the answer is all of them. Okay, carry on.
The internet has informed me that I also train sniper. Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Hey, before we go down the slippery slope of this, let's pull back to Charlie.
There may be a press conference in 4 minutes. I'm sorry.
We should probably watch that live.
Yeah. If you've got a link, let Watcher monitor it, and we can. So real quick, let's talk about Charlie Kirk and our awareness of him before this happened. Because let's be honest, like with views like ours and interests like ours, mainstream conservative pundits generally aren't in our heavy rotation of. And I would call him about as mainstream a conservative pundit as there are. And then you could call him a journalist, and I think that's not wrong. You could call him a commentator, a pundit. You could call him an activist, an organizer. He's all of these things, right? It's like in the new world, you're not just one thing. You're many things to many people. And
I'll
I think
point
that's
out that he served on the Donald Trump transition
yep.
team. So,
Well,
Real quick,
he go ahead, Watcher.
who is less likely to sue us, or to not sue us but go after us? Court TV, Associated Press, or the Independent?
Oh, I don't care. I don't care.
All right.
oh, Don, your wife and I
Whichever.
are conspiring to run your life in the background. I'm just throwing that out there.
I'm seeing that.
When does that not happen?
Looks like Stormy has made it. I guess she's skipping work to
All right, I got
the
It
left
could
made
be
their
a while.
martyr George Floyd and made Charlie Kirk ours. Let me ask you this, guys. I mean, Charlie Kirk, he was a beautiful human as he lived. Is a martyr the right word for him in his death?
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Even
I
in the
agree,
religious
too.
sense of the word. No, and actually, this is one of the things wife came to me to talk about it, last night, was that even in the Catholic tradition, he meets the definition of a martyr.
Right. Well, I mean, he literally died for his biblical faith, right?
Correct.
And literally at the hands of an enemy of everything he stood for. I mean, he's like an old school martyr.
Correct.
So let me point out a mild difference here. All right, and it's probably going to seem like pedantry, but I don't care. There is no debate. There is no fentanyl-filled rage fest. There was no stealing, getting in a fight with half of a store, getting the cops called on you, on and on and on and on. There was a guy who said, hey, I disagree with you. Sit down and talk to me.
Right.
Or stand up and talk. Yell at me. And that was a death warrantable offense. Not being a 2-decade-long menace to society who wrote his own death warrant because he couldn't quit putting drugs in his face when he got arrested so that he didn't have to go to jail for it. Not that. No. Hey, sit down and talk to me.
Hey, while we're on this topic, I'm just going to hold this book up. So, hey,
yes.
If you don't own this book, check it out. I'm going to drop the link over on Twitter.
So, you know, Charlie had a pretty special place in life, and now he has a special place in death. And I'm sorry that that's the case, but it's absolutely true. And what's been interesting to me, and there's the reason why I was asking you guys about people that are maybe less fervent in their conservatism in their everyday life. Is because the one thing that I think I've seen across the board is anybody who is aware of Charlie Kirk absolutely is gutted by this. And what's been very interesting are people who were barely aware or not even aware. So, for instance, you guys know where I work. And, you know, there tends to be, you know, there's people who are political there, but there are a lot of people who are just kind of tuned out from politics where I work, right? For reasons, right? It literally is an advantage to when you do that type of job, to not have any idea of the political like implications of what you're doing. And so I asked somebody, hey, did you hear the news about Charlie Kirk? And the question back to me was, who's Charlie Kirk? And this is an individual who I'd been kind of chit-chatting with and stuff on and off for a couple months. And she would ask me questions and things like, because, you know, like I'd say something from time to time. And I try not to say stupid stuff at work, right? But it's when you get to where you trust people, they'll ask you questions and you share with them, and she has slowly become kind of red-pilled minus, right? Over the time that I've talked to her. And when I showed her, I told her about it and I told her who he was, and it still wasn't clicking for her. I said, well, let me show you the video of what happened to him. And I showed her the video that everybody's seen that is just, it's fucking horrible. And she was unbelievably, she couldn't believe it. She's like, what the fuck is going on in our country? You know, and she like went down this kind of like really dark, really fast rabbit hole, which is something that I was not, I just wasn't, I wasn't prepared to watch somebody like her who is not politically kind of inclined at all go down there. And I thought it was very interesting. And I wonder how many people like that you guys know that are kind of milquetoast in their opinions have really kind of radicalized very quickly.
I think too that it's important to realize that the killing of Charlie Kirk shouldn't be what motivates you or radicalizes you. The left's reaction to the killing of Charlie Kirk should be. And I know that seems like a very small distinction, but as Don has pointed out many, many times, Charlie Kirk was a placeholder for you, right? Oh, so was Donald Trump. Yep. They would kill you if they had that capability and knew where to find you.
Well, and I've heard a lot of people ask, why is this one taking so much of a toll on the conservative movement when the two separate attempted assassination attempts on Donald Trump didn't even do this much? And the answer is because when it's a politician, people can at least tell themselves that this has happened before and it's normal in our society somewhat, right? Like it's not good, but it's a thing that has happened many times. There's a long history of it. I can't name anybody else this has happened to like this specifically other than Martin Luther King, and we're pretty damn sure the FBI did that one.
I think this destroyed, I just said this in a chat to someone, it destroyed the false hope people had of the possibility of reconciliation and coming together and putting this all behind us. Yes. It popped that myth and let everyone know that, well, that's not going to happen. Yeah. Because Charlie was the most moderate among us.
Yeah. The hope that they killed the super dangerous turbo far right guy needs to be as popped as your hope that guy could walk around and talk it out and we could figure this out.
Let me say something to his credit, and I'm not violating any confidences here because I won't reveal any names beyond Charlie Kirk. But in 2020, another conservative commentator and him were talking, and he said, hey, I got some people going up into Michigan, and I need someone to make sure my people are safe. And that commentator gave him my name, and I met his people at the airport, took them all around, handled their appearances and their protests and all that stuff, and got them back on the plane safely. But that's the kind of guy he was. He was more worried about others than he was about himself, right? And as far as I know, to this day, he generally travels with one or maybe two security people as opposed to a massive team because he has to pay for it all himself. It's not he's not the president, so he doesn't get protection for free. And believe it or not, college people, college police departments will not help you. Flat out refuse. Yeah. So, with the exception of the guys at James Madison University, thank you, gentlemen, for your help on my my thing there.
Evidently, the college had both uniform and plainclothes people in the crowd, and so I don't know how much cooperation there was on this specific event, but evidently this college was probably as cooperative as any college is ever going to be. Let's be honest, Joe. In college police departments are like small town police departments. They don't have a lot of guys, and they don't have a lot of high end expertise.
They don't. And in all reality, when you see, like when the president appears, you see all these cities and townships putting out their SWAT teams and all that, it's because the federal government is paying them to do so. And so when you show up and you say, I'm a conservative influencer, I've raised just enough money to cover the lights and the sound system, what can you give me for security? And they're like, at no cost, I can give you 4 cops. And that's it. And, if you want to pay more, then I can give you a couple more, but they charge exorbitant rates. And it's cheaper to just hire your own security. Right. And there's really not much that can be done in an open air venue like that. And everyone who says, oh, well, they should have locked it down or had drones. they always declare a temporary flight restriction over the area. That applies to you too. And they're never going to allow you to have your own counter sniper teams on a college campus. It's just not. It's not going to happen.
Hey, Watcher, I see the thing. Is that the?
Yeah,
is
it just started.
All right, do you guys want to go live to this? I don't know what they're talking about specifically, but we can. Apparently, the name of the guy has been released.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm having issues hearing it too. Let me see if I can. Let me see if a different one has got a better, because like they're not even taking it from the mic. Should I go back? It's about a minute.
Yeah, we're just a minute behind. That's fine.
Okay. Give me a second. I got to share with sound, and then we're good to go. Caution, echo.
Following the remarks today, Governor Cox, Director Patel, and Commissioner Mason will take questions. Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We got him. On the evening of September 11th,
Dad got him.
a family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident.
Washington County.
This information was relayed to the Utah County Sheriff's Office and scene investigators at Utah Valley University.
Washington
information
County
was
is the
also
other side of
conveyed
this, like
to the
literally
FBI.
the exact other side of the
Investigators
state.
reviewed additional video footage from UVU surveillance and identified Robinson arriving on UVU campus in a gray Dodge Challenger at approximately 8:29 a.m. on September 10th, in which he is observed on video in a plain maroon t-shirt, light-colored shorts, a black hat with a white logo, and light-colored shoes. When encountered in person by investigators in Washington County on September 12th, in the early morning hours, Robinson was observed in consistent clothing with those surveillance images. Investigators interviewed a family member of Robinson who stated that Robinson had become more political in recent years. The family member referenced a recent incident in which Robinson came to dinner prior to September 10th, and in the conversation with another family member, Robinson mentioned Charlie Kirk was coming to UVU. They talked about why they didn't like him and the viewpoints that he had. The family member also stated Kirk was full of hate and spreading hate. The family member also confirmed Robinson had a gray Dodge Challenger. Investigators identified an individual as the roommate of Robinson. Investigators interviewed that roommate, who stated that his roommate, referring to Robinson, made a joke on Discord. Investigators asked if he would show them the messages on Discord. He opened it and showed several messages to investigators and allowed investigators to take photos of the screen as each message was shown by Robinson's roommate. These photos consisted of various messages, including content of messages between the phone contact named Tyler with an emoji icon and Robinson's roommate's device. The content of these messages included messages affiliated with the contact Tyler, stating a need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point, leaving the rifle in a bush, messages related to visually watching the area where a rifle was left, and a message referring to having left the rifle wrapped in a towel. The messages also refer to engraving bullets and a mention of a scope and the rifle being unique. Messages from the contact Tyler also mentioned that he had changed outfits. I know there's been speculation as well as to the writing on those casings, those bullet casings, and I believe we have that as well. And I'll share that with you now. So the area north of Campus Drive Road where the suspect crossed over, you saw some of that in the video that we released last night, consists of a grassy area with trees on the edge of the UVU campus. Investigators discovered a bolt-action rifle wrapped in a dark-colored towel. The rifle was determined to be a Mauser Model 98 30-06 caliber bolt-action rifle. The rifle had a scope mounted on top of it. Investigators noted inscriptions that had been engraved on casings found with the rifle. Inscriptions on a fired casing read, "Notices, bulges, capital OWO, what's this, question mark." Inscriptions on the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist, exclamation point, catch, exclamation point." Up arrow symbol, right arrow, and symbol, and 3 down arrow symbols. A second unfired casing read, "Oh Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow Chow." And a third unfired casing read, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO." We are indebted to law enforcement across the state who's worked seamlessly together, local law enforcement, state law enforcement, and our federal partners with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. We're grateful for everyone who worked together in such a short amount of time to find this person and to bring justice. I want to thank the public who has been so engaged, reviewing videos, helping us with sending in tips, and helping us get to this point. I want to thank the family members of Tyler Robinson who did the right thing in this case and were able to bring him into to law enforcement.
Reading that his dad's a cop.
I especially want to thank the family of Charlie Kirk, Erica, Charlie's parents, his children. I want us to be thinking of them as we bring justice in this case. They will be involved in that justice. We will be working very closely with them as we move through this process as well. This is a very sad day for our country.
Looks
a
like
terrible
he was
day for the state of Utah.
Yeah, that's probably enough.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll monitor this in the other side, and if I see something, I'll let you know.
Let me point out 2 things. The absolute irony of claiming to be an anti-fascist and shooting a Nazi while using a Mauser 98, which, you know,
Do you guys,
a little bit odd.
Do you
And
want to watch Cash Talk?
Yeah, let's hear what
No.
the
Let's let Joe
disappointment
finish.
says.
Let's let Joe
sorry, go ahead.
finish. Let's let Joe finish, but I'll pause it here where Cash is about to start talking, so we're ready when we're done.
I think that's your cue, Joe.
Oh, I didn't realize I didn't hear what he said. And then the last part was the Iron Front logo that they keep drawing on there with the arrows. If they had any idea what the Iron Front actually stood for, they would stop using it, because not only was Iron Front anti-fascist, they were also anti-communist. So it's somewhat silly using the Iron Front logo like they always do.
That's the 3 arrows, right?
Yeah.
Well, at least he's ambiguous about his affiliations.
Right.
So look, they wouldn't stop using it, right? This is the rough equivalent of our grandparents were the first anti-fascists. Your grandparents would hang you from the ceiling fan and beat you with a stick until you stop being retarded. Okay,
correct.
That's what would happen. No, right? And this is what they do. They co-opt things that people generally like, approve of, know of, whatever, and turn it into their disgusting propaganda nastiness. There is a question in chat. The super short answer is no. In a minute enough way, sort of, kind of, but practical application, no. Carving bullets, specifically casings, doesn't affect anything. Carving the actual bullet, if you did it enough.
Did they say carving or marking?
Carved. He carved it in there.
He said carved.
Engraved it. They've said engraved in the past too.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to.
It's and I can't say this enough either. And I am certain we will get into this a lot more in the future. But at that distance, nothing affects ballistics. Nothing.
Yeah.
If there is not a tornado on campus.
Yeah.
Yeah, if there's not a tornado on campus, and I mean on campus, not nearby, then it's point and shoot distance for rifle shooting.
Yeah, at that range, there's not even any compensation for something like glass.
Somebody asked me yesterday, goes, but wouldn't the elevation make it harder? No, the elevation actually makes it easier. So,
yeah, well, I mean, look, yeah, there's probably two. I don't know. Do you guys want to do this now?
So, I mean,
well, let's go ahead and watch what the gutless wonder here has to say, and then.
This is what happens when you let good cops be cops.
oh, fuck you.
And his dad,
proud to stand here today together to bring justice to the family of Charlie Kirk.
You know what? No. We can let him finish or whatever, but like, no, I'm not gonna let that comment go on past. You did nothing. You fucking lost him. This was over. The only reason this kid got caught is because his dad was a sheriff and apparently has some kind of fucking morals left.
can I ask
You did nothing.
Does Parental have shirts that actually fit? Every time you see him, he's in a shirt that is too big for him.
Yeah. Look, I don't know what the propaganda was supposed to be about this guy, of why he was going to save the FBI, but I think it's pretty clear that he's not doing that. He can't dress himself. He can't run an investigation. He can't do freaking anything.
Hey, Sean.
yeah, Sean,
Hello.
how are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you guys?
Squishy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a weird couple.
It's been a week.
Days. Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. The terrorism started last weekend with that girl getting killed, and it just got worse as the week went on.
Yeah.
It will get worse. More? Here we go.
Let's go ahead.
Extend gratitude to President Trump, the Vice President, and the entire White House, who have been so incredibly supportive with both resources and just personally to the FBI as a team. They had our backs the entire way, and I just want to express my gratitude for giving us the resources we need to operate in this space to bring this sort of justice at this sort of speed. In 33 hours, we have made historic progress for Charlie. Governor Cox, our partnership has been absolutely incredible.
What?
These last few days?
What
Our
progress
partnership
did
has
they
been
make?
Have you seen? They caught him. But they
No,
didn't catch
I
him.
know that, but I mean, last night they're like, we got nothing. The dude's
No.
a ghost of the man.
No,
Yeah,
let's
no.
be honest. They didn't catch anybody.
Yeah,
they
somebody turned him in.
His dad did. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy turned himself in.
I mean, our massive investigative powers of putting out 3 pictures because we're the federal government
Yes.
who can get a hold of fucking security cam footage so that his dad could do the job for him.
Sean snuck in like a ninja. What up,
Yeah.
Sean?
Morning,
There you
Sean.
Yeah, no, but I mean, like, 4chan seemed to have done more than this.
Yes, unironically.
My question is that guy that they identified on 4chan, is that a screen name for this guy? I would be
No.
really.
No, I think it's,
It's
not.
no.
It's
It's
part
universal
of what
now.
happened with 4chan is they got fooled in a pretty easy way. They fell for the fact that hey, this guy has a SoundCloud video that's 10 years old that's called Charlie Kirk Dead at 31.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
he just renamed the video after Charlie Kirk died to get attention.
All right.
Your sheriffs, your DPS community has been unbelievably impressive in the hardest of times. And a case like this cannot be solved, cannot be brought without partnering with your state and local authorities. The FBI has a certain role to play. We will play that role, and we will lead after the federal government. Governor Cox, we are so grateful for your state partnership that led out on this investigation. A little bit of the timeline. Charlie was shot at 12:23 p.m. on Wednesday. The first FBI agents arrived on scene in 16 minutes with chiefs of police at 12:39 and secured the scene. The FBI immediately launched fixed-wing assets. We utilized these assets to transport personnel specialty technicians.
This has
rescue
nothing to
teams.
do with
We also utilize these assets to go back and forth from the East Coast and here in Utah to transport forensic evidence and other evidence that will be analyzed and is being analyzed at our FBI laboratories in Quantico and other laboratories, including the ATF. At my direction, the FBI released the first set of FBI photos of the suspect at 10 a.m. local time on 9/11. Then, shortly thereafter, the FBI reward of $100,000 was released at 10:45 a.m. local. Myself and Deputy Director Bongino.
I'm going to pause that as long as we're here. And then private citizens reached out and more than tripled that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. If they hadn't been able to fix this, I was hoping Kash Patel would have been fired because of this whole we caught him and all this nonsense at the beginning of the
Yeah.
I hope he's still fired. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
I don't.
The whole we caught him 2 days ago was absolutely moronic. Why would you even make that statement until you knew that was the guy? Crazy.
Approximately 5:30 p.m. on 9/11. The governor led a press conference last night at approximately 8 p.m. where at my direction the FBI released a never-before-seen video of the suspect. We also released new images to the public of the suspect. And just last night, the suspect was taken into custody at 10 p.m. local time. In less than 36 hours, 33 to be precise, thanks to the full weight of the federal government and leading out with the partners here in the state of Utah and Governor Cox, the suspect was apprehended in a historic time period. And I want to highlight what Governor Cox said. This would not have been possible without you, the media, and you, the public. That's why we went so public, so fast, and we're so transparent, and we're committed to that transparency. The crime scene, just a little bit there.
Does anybody else get the feeling off that? Does anyone else get the feeling off that when he says that like a grifter account when they're like, oh look, we did the thing, guys, we raised all the money, woo, I shared it once and I talked about it barely, and but we did it, yeah.
They did literally nothing on this case. They did not catch this guy.
Mm-hmm.
The guy told others he did it, and they called him. He can say all this word salad and fantastic grandstanding here, but the kid turned himself in and was still wearing the same clothes. That was not great police work, Columbo.
Yeah.
And this image we have it frozen on right here is the image of Kash Patel.
Yeah. Pause entirely on point.
And again.
Laserham, well done. With the full weight of the government, we had to rely on his dad to turn him in.
Exactly. Which, by the way, forgive me if I personally think the FBI probably could have done more. Yeah, if I personally think that seemingly every time it's somebody just barely to the right of Mao, they can find precisely where you are for some fucking reason. But smoke Charlie Kirk in front of 1,000 people? Better wait for his dad.
Also, hold on. Let's go a step further here too. This kid's in Washington County. Washington County is literally the southernmost county of United States, of Utah. It borders Arizona. This happened in one of the nearly the northernmost county. So he traveled the entirety of I-15 in order to get back. I happen to know for a fact that the government went through great expense to line the entirety of I-15 with both license plate readers and live feed cameras.
Well, they didn't know what vehicle he was in until much later.
Well, yes, but you could literally, there is, just like if we're doing the whole pictures from above thing and we can trace back, find people that are traveling in a time, manner, and fashion that makes sense, and then you narrow down your suspect pool immediately.
But they didn't know he was from Washington County until his dad called.
Hold on a minute here, right? Because this is the... it was fine to GPS fence all of DC that if your phone pinged off a tower in DC, not even you were there, if your phone pinged off a tower, then you were getting rounded up for January 6th. And so, no, they didn't know he was from Washington County. All right. But hey, if your phone pinged off of the towers at the school, we're looking, right? And by the way, that picture of him walking up the stairs, there's a cell phone print on his right leg. So, I mean,
Correct.
should have known 100%. You sent me the picture that says, look at cell phone data.
Yeah.
Didn't do.
Like I pointed out, it's always funny how when hunting those horrible right-wing criminals that went to school board meetings or attended a protest at the Capitol, the FBI used the full magical power of the NSA and was able to do incredible feats.
Exactly.
Whenever they're looking for a left-wing terrorist, they're the Keystone friggin' cops and bump into each other and can't seem to put the pieces together. And the only reason they caught this guy is because somebody else turned him in. It's crazy. Or like the one, Luigi Mangione, only got caught because he was acting weird in a McDonald's and a local cop spotted him. Right?
Yeah.
Brilliant police work once again. Crazy.
I think we've danced around the pattern long enough. The investigative
fire in the chat, by the way.
Right? But hey, look, we've danced around this pattern long enough. The investigative agencies are fully infiltrated. They have to be purged. That is literally step one. That is step one going forward. We need literally every single agent tested and gone through with a fine-tooth comb.
And that was Kash Patel's first failure, right? I mean, it's like literally, it wasn't that he didn't get rid of him. He started actually hiring for new positions and benefiting people who actually were the bad guys in the other administration. Now you could say, oh well, there was ignorance. Well, bullshit. I don't believe that. When you're at that level, you can't be operating off of ignorance. Anyway, is there somebody else after Kash Patel?
I don't know. I haven't been monitoring. Let me look into it and see.
That's his last name, right? Patel.
Oh my God! There are a bunch of people. There's some local cops.
Let's hear local cops because those guys actually probably were doing something.
Yeah, just to be clear, since I just had to skip through it, you get an entire fucking 10 minutes of him bloviating, and I'm telling you, there's nothing else besides him saying what a great job they've done.
There's no there. Continue.
Look. Hold on a second. If you have to say you're the king, you're not the king. If you have to come out 5 seconds after this guy got arrested and go, oh, I did a great job. It was me, boys. It was me. You didn't do shit, and everybody knows it.
Correct.
Hey, another question real quick before we move on. Hey, Cash, if you caught him at 10 p.m. last night, why were you there at right before 10 p.m. last night looking like the guy in the cuck chair during that press briefing?
Huh. Right. Yeah, I mean, if they were about to catch him, they could have just said, sorry, we have updates coming.
They already had delayed the press conference for 4 hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was utterly depressing to see them go up there and say, well,
we got nothing.
Yeah.
Here's what his clothes look like, you guys. Yeah. We got a shoe print off the Converse sneaker he was wearing.
Yeah.
I've got a great jalfrezi recipe I'll share with you.
Yes, I mean, and what did we learn? That this guy had great fall damage protection.
Yeah,
from when he jumped off the roof. Which
by the way, as soon as they said there's a Converse shoe print, the wife happened to be in the room while I was watching that, and she was like, "So I'm a suspect now."
Well, we know it wasn't a Boomer because they weren't New Balances.
Oh, God. That's right. All right, let's listen to the cowboy.
For everybody who has played a part in this investigation. As you know, it's been a vast, a complicated, and a very, very fast-paced investigation. You're looking at people standing up here.
Well, I didn't know sheriffs had 5-star generals.
They got an hour's sleep in the last couple of days. They're probably lucky. It has been very taxing. It has been so impressive speaking on behalf of the local law enforcement to see the cooperation that we've seen in this type of case. Across the state, sheriffs, chiefs, our state partners have stepped up and have come to the call on anything that we needed. Our county chiefs have been phenomenal. Our Utah County Attorney, Jeff Gray, who's standing up here with us, has been phenomenal in leading us through this investigation. I would like to thank the federal government for their resources, their assets. Our local team here, our FBI team, has been extraordinary in helping us work through this and bring this person to justice. Most of all, I would like to thank the public, and specifically,
You better say
I would like
Father.
to thank the public who turned to prayers and who turned to positiveness for us. I would like to thank them on behalf of the law enforcement community, because we needed those prayers. That's what we needed to get through this. We needed your support, and you gave it to us. We needed your patience, and you gave it to us. And I would like to thank you for the Kirk family, because that's what they need, is your support and your prayers, and that will get us through all of this. So thank you, everybody, for everybody that has stepped up. We've had such a phenomenal response to this. Thank you.
And Cash Patel comes back up and say, and don't forget, I did all this.
Yeah, no, thank
Hey,
you, Sar.
let-
You can
And
go
let's
ahead and
your
redeem yourself
$100,000
somewhere
will
else.
come in Google Play cards. Sorry.
Yeah. Let's go to Joe. Let's talk about what the event, the actual, the Charlie setup and the location. And I know a lot of people. I mean, you've, just in case people in the chat don't know, Joe, you've got a lot of experience with event security, personal security, close protection, that kind of stuff, in addition to your military experience. So let's break this down and talk about what we know so far. And let's be honest, why there's not much Charlie's team could have done about this situation.
And before we get going, thank you, Hug, for your hard work in putting together this this
Yeah,
video.
the video is pretty cool.
We're not going to do the
Wow.
whole thing. We're just going to use your digital recreation of the grounds there with some commentary over the top of it. But thank you for doing this.
Let me first say, while we're watching this, that all those rooftops, there's so many of them, you can't watch them all. And Charlie Kirk is not the president of the U.S., so no one's going to expend the resources to secure every single one of them. It becomes very, very hard, and a lot of college police departments just aren't that willing to help out. And like we pointed out, this is a very small college. There's probably enough cops to maybe have 4 or 5 of them in the crowd. And that's just for the safety of the crowd, not necessarily for the safety of Charlie. As you can see, Charlie has a close protection agent right behind him, always within arm's reach. That does you no good when somebody shoots you from 200 meters away, right? It's the best that could be done in the circumstances. The awning over him probably blocked a lot of the view from a distance in an elevated platform, and they thought that was probably going to be enough, but there's enough of an angle from another building where the guy could get a view underneath. Tough stuff to do. Most college events we prefer to do indoors for this very reason, but you don't get to pick the venue when you go to a college. The college tells you where you can be. So it becomes very, very difficult. Ever since 2020, there's been a really, well, actually 2016, there's been a really hard time working with college law enforcement agencies on getting conservative events scheduled and secured. Some colleges are great, James Madison being one. Others are absolutely horrible. University of Michigan will absolutely provide nothing and still charge you $50,000 for nothing. So,
Thanks for nothing.
yeah, exactly right.
And Joe, I guess I have a question too. You know, from the security posture concerns, the bigger threat is him being attacked or assaulted from the crowd, really, at that point, isn't it? Generally, where you're thinking the most likely threat's going to be presenting.
Yeah, the number one problem is what we call the near lethal approacher, and that's somebody who is in the first 10 rows who can actually make a rush and actually harm the person on stage. And that's the biggest risk. Or in the age of Antifa, just like the incident I was involved in at the Michigan Capitol. It's a staged event on video to attempt to demean or harass or embarrass your client, like throwing liquids on them or something like that. That's the risk you're most likely to defend against. Assassination is a very hard one to defend against, and that's why we prefer to do them indoors.
Mm-hmm. No, I understand, but I was just saying though, like your biggest threat, that guy, his PSD, they're scanning the crowd like right in the front because that's where the most likely concern is going to be, not necessarily.
I would be entirely honest. Physical assault, like someone running up and punching him, would have been my biggest concern with Charlie Kirk, rather than long-range assassination. He just doesn't fit the threat model.
And evidently, he was wearing a bulletproof or bullet-resistant vest, probably a soft, kind of low-profile vest underneath his T-shirt. So, I mean, I guess that's something that's SOP for him. The other thing, Joe, with a sniper situation, I mean, outside of obscuring the lines of sight, I mean, really all you can do is just be aware of where your rooftops are, and if you see any movement on one, then you just move the principal off the X, right? I mean, that's about all you can do.
But the problem is this. Everyone assumes that anyone who has a protection detail has a presidential level detail.
Right.
40 to 45 people on the ground at all times. The average security detail is 1 to 3 guys. You can't cover that. It's just not possible. And when you tell a college, well, I need to be able to put a guy on a roof, they're like, no, you can't do that. And you say, why? No, because they're a college cop who doesn't get to tell people no very often. And now he gets a chance. I'm going to tell somebody no. And it's just the way that they work. They won't allow you to do it. So at that point, you're scanning the close crowd, just like Sean pointed out. You're looking for the guy who's going to rush the stage. You aren't even thinking about a long-range shot. Now, when we did one in Lansing where we had a lot of long sight ranges, we did require the client to wear a bulletproof vest on stage because we couldn't possibly secure all of the parking ramps and business buildings and Governor Whitmer's office window from where we were. And because it was more likely that she would take a shot at the client that day than anyone else. But there was really not much that could be done. So we said, okay, every one of your staff who's going to be up on stage and working the sound and all that kind of stuff, every one of your staff has to wear a bulletproof vest while we're here. And of course, even in that environment where we had tall buildings all around, the attack that was attempted was throwing urine on the client. So,
and it's once again, you're back in that close protection mindset, and
well, and
it's a different threat.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I wonder how much of that changes now. I mean, Charlie didn't fit the threat model for that because we were underestimating what the left was wanting and capable of. Am I wrong?
Well, so here's the problem. Feel free to go back to that digital recreation, right? If you were standing anywhere in the Middle East with 3 other guys.
Oh yeah, no,
in that location.
No,
what is the first thing you're doing?
Leaving
because
immediately.
You can't possibly cover that many rooftops. Cannot happen. And that is with guys who presumably, if you're there with 3 other guys, right, you're at best, there's some CO talking to a Sherpa or something stupid, right? There's nothing you could do about it. And that's a guy with a radio who can say, hey, like an A10 would be super nice right now, right? And if that guy can't do anything about it, there is nothing you can do about this. It is just too much square footage.
Well, that's the thing you do about it is not be there.
What I do is I have my mysterious computer guy, some might call him a watcher on the web, monitoring all of the live camera feeds that he can and all of the live streams of leftists that he can, and then whispering in my ear when they see things like that, and enable us to kind of have some awareness when we're operating with minimal staff.
Fun fact on that, in case somebody wants to develop a skill set, it's not much of a skill set. It's called a spreadsheet list of all the default manufacturer passwords and usernames for all of the security cameras that are commonly installed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Way to give out the tricks of the trade there, Watcher.
Look, man.
You're supposed to charge thousands of
internet
dollars
for
for
a
that.
lot of years.
I just remember forgetting to tell Watcher we had already left the building, and he's like, "Hey, boss, I found you another way out because Antifa has the building surrounded." I'm like, "Oh, bro, we're having a whiskey at
Yeah.
the bar."
Oh
We
god.
left
Yeah. He's
a
like, hey,
long
I'm at the bar right now, and I'm like, fuck.
See,
Yeah,
Joe,
when
this is why he should be there with you, so that
when you said, "Hey, man, that crowd's getting within 500 feet," I went right up to the client and said, "We have to go now," and we left. So,
Hey, real quick before we go anywhere else with this, let me hit a couple super chats. Redoubt Ranch for $10 says, "This for no particular reason, save to say I appreciate you all." No, brother, we appreciate all you guys. Without the chat, we might be talking, but it wouldn't be nearly as fun. Low Key Larp gifted 5 subs to Future Conflicts. Thank you very much.
Karen, who's watching the Watchers? You are.
That's right. And looks like Pleb wife missed out on getting her free gift membership from. Let's see. Hunch Dirty Roofer for $2. How about them FC files, Cash? Where is the transparency there? SAAR.
See, the one thing, if I was, somebody said this to me in one of my shows. The shooter should make a surrender demand that I'll turn myself in if you release the Epstein files, and I'm like, that's the perfect. The government will just stand off then.
Talk about the perfect troll. Peter says helicopter tours for $2 says I was activated as for the marathon bombing. I should have known better after witnessing that FBI shit show. Yeah.
and then cops did all the work on that. So.
Lance Corporal Veteran for $5 over on YouTube. As of 11 p.m. Rocky Mountain time, shooter turned himself into his father, admitted he was the shooter, and the father said he secured him and called police. Very good. And of course, Dirty Mike is a new member, so we appreciate you.
Oh no, Pleb wife, you don't need a membership. But what will happen is there's a person in our chat who has unbelievable ADD, and your name is currently the wrong color.
That's right.
So
if you look at the chat, you have like a pink or peach color behind all the members, and he doesn't like to see white behind any of the chat, so he just gives memberships, and he's very generous, and we really appreciate him. All right, gentlemen. Do
you want to watch the actual event in recreation, or should we get rid of this one and go to the next?
Well, here's what I want to kind of do one last kind of positive thing, and then we can go down the path of darkness. Let's watch that little memorial Turning Point thing that they put. So Turning Point put out a video. And I'll be honest with you, as somebody who's worked for some amazing leaders, I can only imagine what our organization would have been like if the amazing leader died suddenly, especially the way Charlie did. So the fact that Turning Point is even within 48 hours is able to operate, I think it's great. It speaks to their professionalism, and I'll be honest with you, I look forward to seeing great things out of Turning Point going forward. I get the feeling that Charlie Kirk, what he did do, and what the left did was create a lot of little Charlie Kirks out there. So let's do you have the video?
Whenever.
Yeah. You go ahead and cue that up, and let's watch it.
We're active in about 15 campuses, and we're growing very, very quickly. And keep in mind, this is not just a flash in the pan movement. We're going to become an institution to give them the power and the confidence to stand up and let their voice be heard.
I started this organization when I was 18 years old.
I decided not to go to college. I didn't get in my dream school, which was the United States Military Academy at West Point. I have this idea to galvanize and motivate the future youth of this country around a core set of ideas, not just political parties or politicians. And the ideas are really America's the greatest country in the history of the world. The Constitution is the greatest political document ever written, and free enterprise is the most assured way to lift people out of poverty and create prosperity for all. Those are the three big ideas. And I think that's something that can win.
We as Christians are called to go into the public arena to correct error with truth. So I go to college campuses and there's a lot of error. We're all sinners. We all live in error. I'm far more interested in what God wants of me than what I want from God.
I have to say this without getting emotional, but I'm very proud of my husband. And I know many of you are too. You have worked so hard. And I know a lot of you have seen, obviously, his videos on TikTok and all the stuff he does on campus, but no one gets to see him from my angle except for myself and our children. And the sacrifices that he made this year, he's amazing. I'm very blessed.
And I would not have been able to do any of it without Erica. And that's the real truth. I'll tell you what. You are here as a grassroots response to the top-down revolution happening in this country. I want our Turning Point USA students to receive a round of applause. These are the freedom fighters of America.
The media said that Turning Point could never run a ground game. They weren't experienced. They didn't know Charlie, right?
This is the greatest generational realignment since Woodstock. This generation is the most conservative generation that we have seen in well over 50 years, and the numbers show it. What young people especially are screaming at is they say, give me a structure that I can live my life by. And especially with young men, more challenging of them, more saying, you know what, honestly, I'm not gonna talk down to you. Stop being a boy and become a man. You wanna learn what that means? Come to church and I'll tell you what it means to become a man. Because we have the greatest story ever told. What can I do to save the country? You answer that question every single day, because you are doing the work to save this beautiful republic. You are doing something that is bigger than you.
If everything completely goes away, how do you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered for courage for my faith. That would be the most important thing. Most important thing is my faith in my life.
Yeah, that's a pretty fantastic video. That's pretty moving.
That's great. Yeah, and it emphasizes the right thing, which is his faith, the thing that centered him, and this is how you know he was one of the good guys. He wasn't afraid to say "I don't know" when he didn't know about an issue. He wasn't afraid to, embrace people who it's unpopular to embrace. On our side of the street, I saw a really great clip of a gay guy who was saying, "Hey, I'm a conservative, but I'm gay." And Charlie did a great job of saying, listen, I just want to think of you as a guy. You're don't lead with your gay. Nobody cares what you do in your bedroom, and he embraced him in a way that, maybe a lot of conservatives would have a hard time doing.
Well, I tell people that's an indicator that leaves a hole in your life, because that's the most interesting thing about you when you say things like that. I'm gay, but. So that's what you lead with. That is the most interesting thing about you. Well, we need to find some better things in your life, brother, or at least point them out to you,
right? So
you can find out something better. And I think that's Charlie's point, right? There's got to be something more to you than that. You can't build your entire identity around what you do in the bedroom. And Charlie was one to always reach across the aisle and try to find some common ground. And they killed him. We need to think about that. I think you all know that I was pretty upset at the death of Shinzo Abe, because he was a similar type figure. But this one hits me worse because Abe was tough sometimes. Charlie was always just legitimate and solid and speaking truth. He never played hardball with anyone. He just let them talk, and he told the truth to them. He didn't ever get in their face and scream and yell. He was just a straight responsible speaker, I guess is the way to put it. In Abe's moment had passed. Charlie's was rising, and they wanted to eliminate him before he got very far. There was a quick one dropped in there by random PNW that I want to address real quick, a $5. If you want to read that.
Yeah. Random PNW guy 84 for $5. Does this encourage more leftists to kill high-profile people, or does the arrest discourage it? What are the chances of a left-wing personality getting waxed now in retaliation? Well, but just let me say the one thing. Just think of Luigi Mangione. They fucking lionized that guy.
Yeah, I said this the minute it happened. I put out a tweet that said the Mangione effect, and that is exactly what this is. So I want to give a bigger answer to this. Number one, 3 months ago, Matt and I predicted on the Sons of Liberty that what y'all envision as a civil war is not going to be what it is. It's not going to be massed armies marching in the field. You're going to have a spiraling thing of left-wing and right-wing assassinations back and forth, which is where you are today. And there's been a lot of talk in the chat this morning about, is there going to be a civil war? What do you think is this? I've got some bad news for you. You are already in a civil war. Only one side is fighting. The other side is gnashing their teeth and saying, oh my gosh, what are we going to do and what is going to happen? People are waging war on you. You need to understand that and then figure out what to do about that. So the odds of a left-wing person being assassinated, I'd say 50-50. Only because our side is very angry, but we also are very law-abiding and we don't want to break any rules. There are people who say, hey, I would have helped Irina on the train, but I'm afraid I would get arrested or I'd be late for work.
Yeah,
I wouldn't get home and watch the latest series on Netflix. Our side is too comfortable.
I would say you were 100% correct if our side were only older people. There are many young men that are full of piss and vinegar right now that don't see any other way out. I peg the chances significantly.
I'm mutually assured nails it. Oh, there's a civil war? I'm pretty sure I have to work that day.
Yeah.
So I before we do anything else, I just want to say we have transitioned into part 2. Let me go around so part 2 is what's coming. So what's next? Let me just kind of go around the horn and just give me what you guys think, whether it's positive or negative. Give me what are some of the things that you think that people out there, not you, people out there how they may respond in the short, medium, or long term.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Sean, I'll let you go first.
I confused something that you said with something somebody else said.
No. I'm just saying, like, let's focus now on what's going to happen next. Short, medium, long term, positive, negative. What other people are going to do, not what Joe's plans are for, or Don's plans. I don't have to worry about Sean. Sean's a lawyer. He knows.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, though, I mean, we're at the point now where Charlie Kirk got smoked. I mean, that was so far beyond what anything you could expect at this point. That, that's the sobering part. That it's already gone to that level of intensity where, and I said this, you can hear the pundit class, they're scared because they're like, oh my God, that could be me. So that's what I think. I think, that's where I think it's probably going to go from here. It's not necessarily going to be, why do I have to go after a politician? There's so many easier targets that are just as prominent, and, a celebrity. Yeah, but celebrities have protection. Like, I see this happening where it's going to be, if you're a pundit or you're a political person, you're probably the next threat or you're the next target. But I think it's just going to go from there because they go out and they've got to evangelize whatever side they're on. And I think this is going to be the more intense version of this. I think this is where the battles are going to be fought for a while. And I think that there's going to be more attacks. It's just, I just don't know who or what, but I think that it's going to definitely keep coming from there.
Yeah. I hate to say this, but if you're surprised at this, you have not been paying attention. Antifa literally got busted trying to do this to Ben Shapiro. They were literally going to come into one of his indoor conferences with sawed-off shotguns. If I remember correctly, that was the Crowder's undercover team that ended up infiltrating and then getting that broken up.
But Ben Shapiro makes sense. Charlie Kirk didn't. To me,
I don't know how much different Ben Shapiro is than Charlie Kirk, other than Ben Shapiro doesn't try and do the "I'm going to be nice to you" thing.
Well,
that's
you're
literally the only difference.
them Jews people.
Well, let's be honest. When it comes, I think that Ben Shapiro is a special guy and everything like that, but I just don't think he's anywhere on the same level as Charlie Kirk. I mean, because Charlie's like the full package, whereas, well, like for instance, being a Jew excludes you from a direct connection to a broad spectrum of the American population. It's not opposite. It's just not the same. You know what I mean?
I'm not saying that he was on the same level as like he was as influential. I'm saying that when you break down what they are doing, they are roughly the same thing.
And I agree with the Fed postinator here.
Yeah,
I think Kirk was more effective.
I'm not arguing that. I'm never that was never a part of this argument. Of course Kirk was more effective. What I'm saying is, like, Ben Shapiro's, Crowder's, all of these people, what they are doing is the only difference in what they are doing is that they do what they do in a podcast studio most of the time. They occasionally go out in the street, whereas Charlie Kirk almost always is out in the street. That is the only difference.
I'll point out too that Crowder was not chosen as a target because he's a lot harder of a target. He always has a minimum of a 3-man security team, and every single member of his field staff, when they're out on an event, the audio guys, the video guys, every one of them is armed. So he is a lot harder of a target. Charlie Kirk was an easy target.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and then here's the thing, right? I think Charlie Kirk was the biggest threat long term to the Marxist, neo-Marxist left. The Rev Coms, whatever you want to call them, the violent left, which is shockingly most of them, it seems like. Don, let's go to you. I look to you for the dark path. Where do you think this goes? And I'm not saying you, and you're not advocating for the things. Let's think about and let me set this up for you with a comment that I told somebody at my work, and you guys all know where I work, so you understand the kind of people I'm talking to. I was like, listen, like my friends many of my friends are like me, long-term war vets who have seen a lot of shit. It's like, and our connections with not punching people in the face on a daily basis is very tenuous at best, a lot of times. But when it comes to politics, when we had guys like Charlie Kirk out there, he kind of held the chain that kept the dogs like us at bay, right? But when you kill the man holding the chain, he drops the chains and the dogs run loose. And that's my biggest fear. And why I say it's a fear is because I have kids. I don't want them to live in a country that turns into Iraq, which is what I think a civil war in America would look like, if I'm honest. Don, what do you think?
I mean, you're not wrong. On the 10th, so some lefty was spewing a bunch of crap, and I said, look, you don't get it. I think this guy was the moderate. This guy was the quiet hope for people like me. That I have been wrong for all of these years when I said it's a war. They want you dead. And as long as, this kind of a little bit goofy, wholesome guy can go walk onto a campus and be like, hey, look, maybe you should consider voting for Trump for these 25 reasons. And there could be some sort of discourse and things could ever so slowly move. Hey, good, right? That it's the tiniest little bit of hope that all of these things that we have been telling you for years, and by we I mean pretty much literally everybody on this panel, in a Twitter only meme, buy a guy and train with it, right? Maybe it doesn't have to happen that way. Maybe it doesn't have to be the case, but you're going to smoke that guy. That guy, that one guy that is walking around being, as far as many of us are concerned, naive, is the guy that you decide to kill. Okay. And by the way, for all of us, we just went, yeah, he was being naive. Whether you want to admit to yourself that somewhere in there that's what you said, it's what you said, because he was. Because these people do, in fact, want you dead, and they have made that clear. And the thing that came next, after he was dead, and I am so beyond hearing, oh, but it's only this tiny minority of the radical left. Thousands upon thousands of people spitting on his grave within minutes. Okay? The moment they knew for a fact he was dead, it wasn't, and by the way, this was out there, I hope that he suffers and then dies so he can suffer some more. All right? It wasn't just that. It was, let's draw pictures of cartoons of Charlie Kirk with his neck spewing blood. Let's post that, let's have a drink named the neck or whatever the hell it was.
The neck shot
out there, and the neck shot, right? It's not a thing that is going to engender anybody to not want to see most of you dead. And by the way, the most heartening thing that I have seen thus far is all the calls to come together are getting answered with "shut the fuck up," and all of the people saying, "Oh, the right needs to turn down the rhetoric," are getting answered with "shut the fuck up."
Yeah, I think that in a 24-hour period, they went from laughing about Charlie Kirk's death to going, "Oh snap, we might have gone too far."
Yeah,
because the normies weren't buying it, right? And that's pretty much true. I think somebody asked a question about when did the Civil War begin. I don't think it was 2016, because I honestly believe 2016 to 2020, the Proud Boys versus Antifa, that was just street gang level stuff, right? That was guys who wanted to actually fight and stuff. That wasn't actual combat. It started when we began with some assassinations going back and forth, right? And I don't know that we'll ever pick the exact date when it began, but you are well into an insurgency by leftist Marxist guerrillas, and you need to realize that and start acting that way. And we had some commentary going back and forth in the Rumble chat. Scott Pressler, everyone's saying that he is at risk. Scott Pressler is 100% at risk, and I made a comment on the day of the Charlie Kirk shooting. I said, hey Scott, next time your mom asks me to keep an eye on you, don't laugh about it. And a lot of people took that the wrong way. Scott Pressler's mother attempted to hire me once, and I told her absolutely not. I would not accept money. I did it for free. And I spent 2 days with him, and he laughed about it and goes, "Oh, I don't need it." I imagine that today he thinks very differently. And I was just letting him know that, hey man, maybe you need me to come hang out with you. But there's actually a lot of bad things going. Now, Squishy Hunter, you're wrong. The Civil War has started. We're just not playing. You can't say it requires both sides, because then your side just loses, right? The left is actually committing combatant acts against you. You have to decide whether or not you're going to respond.
Right. Well, I mean, when you have weekly terrorist attacks, when you have weekly attacks against police positions, I mean, there's essentially unarmed maybe is not the right word, but a siege, an unarmed siege at the ICE detention facility in Portland, right? I mean, it's literally every day. And so when you have a situation like that, you're in a low-grade civil war. You are. I mean, there's literally one side of the political discourse, and let's be honest, let's no bones about it. It's a large percentage. Is it most? I don't know. I think it's a large percentage. Let's call it 40% They either were gleeful and reveling in Charlie's death, or they were smart enough not to revel publicly, but then had a yes moment, that day when they found out about it. I mean, that person's
I'm not accepting 40% for that.
No, I don't know. I'm being as charitable as possible. Yeah, here's the problem. There are a lot of people out there that are so fucking stupid, and they're just so dead to the world. They don't understand what the fuck they're part of.
If you bandwagon this, I don't care if you understand it or not.
Yeah. Yeah. Unironically, right? We are well past a bridge too far here.
Yeah.
Okay? And there's still plenty of guys I know who are in every way in the world are happy to be the far right that the left wants them to be. And let me tell you right now, they are en masse reporting that their family members are like, what is in and on, and how do I join the far right? Okay. And it's not it, and you need to understand this, it's not because Charlie Kirk got shot. Everybody and their brother stopped right at that moment and went, oh my God. And then they showed you who they were.
Yep.
And I can't say this enough. I want them to.
Oh yeah, no. So who's the idiot politician who's like, oh, I'm gonna talk to the social media companies and have them banned for life. Anybody who's speaking out against Charlie, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up and sit the fuck down. These people are self-reporting. I think so. Yeah, no, sit the fuck down. They are self-reporting. You say nothing. You don't even listen. I mean it. Like, waste no single word of argumentation with these people anymore. Build lists. That's it.
Yeah.
No, Don, I agree. It's like, hey, welcome, fellow newly discovered right-wing reactionaries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
Welcome, brothers.
Welcome to the radical right. The irony is that people were called, in Korean media over here, they called him far right commentator Charlie Kirk. I'm like, you guys don't have any fucking idea what far right is. Now, let's be honest, compared to say the conservatives in Korea, then yeah, maybe he is far right. But
okay, look,
I
don't care what the people who have been openly embracing every single thing the left has ever wanted to do for the past 50 years think is far right. I just don't. And I'm not going to. Yeah. I will not be made to even pay any attention to that definition. Charlie was a moderate. All of us know it. And if any of those people want to have that kind of debate, they can come on down and sit and talk to one of us for a little bit. Okay.
It just goes to show you the mentality of these people, right? It's like they either they don't realize what the far right really is and what kind of a fucking whirlwind that would be to reap. Like I said earlier, it's guys like Charlie that kept the real far right like in the corner, right? Like,
By the way, the real far right has been calling that man a gatekeeper for years. Okay.
No, yeah, let me explain this to everybody here. The actual far right, the people who I still don't want any association with at all, hated Charlie Kirk. They openly hated him. They are still actually reaping some of that now, which, by the way, I think it's just fucking hilarious that Dave Smith can finally ask for proof that Israel actually did something now. Now is the time when Dave can ask that the proof can be provided. Thanks, Dave. Thanks.
Mugshots out there now, apparently.
I've got mugshots. If you guys want it, I've got pictures going back to when the little fuck was 14.
Yeah, no, I'm good. We've already seen. He's all over the internet now. Here's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about all the Christ-like efforts of
random PNW's $5 super chat, but it's not.
It's on Rumble.
Let's see. Random PNW guy for 84 for $5. Joe in the panel. How does this change the PSD world? I would imagine it's going to be a boom time.
Yeah, you're going to see. First of all, the backpacks you see everyone carrying is generally people with med kits. You're going to see a lot more backpacks. They're going to be a little bit different shaped. You're probably going to see rifles in PSD details now on the private side. You've always seen them with the presidential or governmental side, some governors and whatever, but you're actually going to see next time you might see a conservative influencer standing there. You might see a guy with a rifle standing there. You're probably going to see a lot more bulletproof vests openly worn. Crowder famously at the speech in Michigan wore his level 4 vest over his clothes.
His blank carrier, right?
Yeah, mainly because the governor's office was directly across the square. And he was asking some uncomfortable questions of her. But you're going to see a lot more. You're going to see a big uptick in the private security business. Can confirm looking at my DMs and emails. But you're also going to see it taking a lot more of a warlike or war zone-like standpoint. You're going to see guys openly in tactical gear, vehicles staged closer. You're going to see a much tighter cordon around them and less tolerance for handshakes and public greeting, right? Now we're going to see that separation. And what's troubling is that that's only going to up the conflict level, right? Because then people are going to say, well, look at them, and then look at them, and they're doing this, so we're going to have to do that. And it is going to continue to go back and forth. So
what? Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, Joe. I mean, I think, and I'm surprised. Obviously, don't reveal. I know don't reveal things that are out there, but I wouldn't be surprised now. You're going to see just, not just the rifles, but more counter surveillance with these details that are going to be operating. Maybe they'll start throwing a drone up or two in the air because. You know what? I could check a lot of buildings pretty quick with one of those. And like you said, you're probably going to start getting I demand acts like if they do things outside, which is going to be very risky, but having access to rooftops, having, I wouldn't be surprised if some of these guys are going to have a counter team that's going to be operating on a rooftop. Maybe not right at the venue, but at a place they can secure nearby that allows them overwatch of their events.
Maybe I am wrong here, but I had always understood that counter sniper is one of those things where the government can get away with it because of the legal protections that they have. But apart from some very specific scenarios, it is very hard to legally be able to do that duty.
Well, first of all, boy, Limey, the answer to your question is, oh yeah, I can see the moment. I can look at my my book sales report and I can see the moment Charlie was shot. But anywho, to that point, you're on to something, Sean. Counter surveillance teams would be a fantastic thing to have, and I suggest them regularly. But to a guy who's paying for protection out of his own pocket, or a management company paying for it, it's an unproductive whole. I'm paying for 3 guys to sit in cars around here and do nothing. And you know what I mean? It's really hard to sell. And
I get that. I get that.
But yeah, it'll be something that's out there. And the drone thing is just a non-starter because the colleges always throw up a no drone zone. And the FAA throws out a temporary flight restriction. And there's literally nothing you can do. Everyone's afraid of drones, so they will not let you use one. They'll tell you this. You're a private citizen. I can't tell you can use a drone and tell the others they can't.
Yeah. But if you control the airspace over your event, I guess you could do this. That's too hard to figure out, though.
Somebody said, well, how do colleges have this authority? They say, I can't shoot over mine. Colleges are generally governmental authorities or what's called a TIFA, a tax increment finance authority, their own government in and of themselves. Yeah. So they're allowed to say you can't do that here.
I mean, say if you don't agree to the rules, you're not allowed here. Period. So
correct.
So that's how they get away with it.
There's the other thing going on. There's a thing going on in chat, and it needs to be addressed. Well, Charlie Kirk had millions of followers. Couldn't he have just got his own PSD volunteer? No. Okay. Today. Charlie Kirk could get 1 million volunteers and pick the best of them. Monday, no. Okay. And I need you to understand this. Every day, for years was, well, but nothing's happened. And I mean, there's even mockery going back years of like, what do you even have a security detail for? Right? Go watch that Crowder video.
Yeah, and let's just look at the budget real quick, Joe. Let me get you to spec out what a 5-man full-time protective detail with additions for public events would look like. What would be the budget ballpark for a detail like that? 5-man detail with big
for
events.
one day at an event.
No. For a year, like what would if like TPUSA said, okay, like we're going to provide this for Charlie Kirk,
5 guys
and we're going to pay.
Yeah, well, let's say
in the millions of dollars.
Well, yeah, let's say Charlie Kirk does one event a month outside like this.
5 guys for a day, including vehicles and expenses. It's going to run you $7,500 to $10,000.
Yeah,
that's just the way it is.
Yeah. And that's hard to suck up if you're not making any money at all off these. Yeah, you're giving away hats and you're talking for free. Nobody's paying Charlie to be there.
And I mean, all these groups are entirely donation driven, and therefore they have to be very, very careful on the dollars that they spend. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It becomes hard.
Well, go ahead, Sean, and I want to transition
say,
to another thing.
The other thing Don was bringing up, the people who would volunteer, you don't want for a PSD.
Correct. Yeah.
Like, I don't need, it's like any militia out there. Yes, great.
So
some colonel with an SKS is not who you
want. On a certain high-profile detail, we had a militia approach us and say, hey, we'd like to volunteer our services. And when the speaker asked me, I was like, absolutely not. And then a week later, all those guys got arrested.
Yes.
Weird. Crazy.
Yeah, it's like, you want to help here, go direct, wear a bright orange vest and go direct traffic.
Not only no, but hell no. Yeah. Watcher, I put up a link in the private chat. If you could post that. So one of the things that I think is been a very positive sign, and let's be honest, this is the lowest common denominator of public action in the real world, is that people have been collecting all of the wonderful public statements, posts, the gleeful exhortations, videos, you name it, that people on these left-wing, demonically inspired people, well, not just service members. And this is, let's start with service members, though, because Peak Headseth retweets Sean Parnell, who says, it's unacceptable for military personnel and Department of War civilians to celebrate or mock the assassination of a fellow American. The Department of War has zero tolerance for it. And Pete Hegseth says, we are tracking all these very closely and will address immediately. Completely unacceptable. And of course, what we have underneath here are examples. The thing I like about these posts is like people like, oh, well, I'm going to post all the ones that I find. Now, let's be honest. You see the same, 4 or 5 or 10 over and over again. But so let's just look at maybe one of these videos just to see what people who are active duty people are doing and saying about him. So if I can find one. And here's the interesting thing about it is they can
guy right there. There's no way that guy's actually active duty.
Well, he may be a reservist. He may be he may be out.
TAD.
Yeah,
I said, as an MP, I demand to see his shaving profile because that ain't it, Chief.
Oh yeah. Hold on. No. I'm sorry, but he has a particular skin color, which means that achieving a shaving chit is literally as easy as walking somewhere and saying, "My face hurts."
Joe, the last 4 years, you would not fucking believe it. Don would be able to get back in it with his beard.
Oh, man.
Watcher would be able to walk around on post, and I'm not talking about just Army. I'm talking about all services.
Yeah, that drill sergeant with the chest length beard, from a year or whatever ago. Look, I have enjoyed breaking the Army's balls since the minute I stepped into the Marine Corps. On the other hand, gentlemen, what the fuck?
Let me point out, though, that from a uniform standard, he is wearing a AOR1 uniform, correct? But he has a black rank insignia. That is not proper.
Yeah, it isn't proper. This might be.
Let's play this guy's video.
You're a bad person. You're going to hell. Man. Fuck Charlie Kirk. The off ramp to the high road is closed. We are not going to be made to feel bad about y'all bullshit hero that consistently spewed harmful rhetoric, that consistently put people's lives in danger with the bullshit platform that he was given by all of you racist goofies. This has nothing to do with conservative versus liberal. This has nothing to do with Democrat versus Republican. This has nothing to do with the left versus the right.
Yeah, I'm done. So, yeah. UCMJ. So many, these dudes need to fry. They need to be gone. Just gone.
By the way, this is facts. There's a lot of purging going on in the military ranks,
and yet all these people still exist.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. 90% of the ones that I think people are posting are out. They just have a lot of the pictures out there, so they kind of put two and two together. But ultimately, every one of these people can be recalled to active duty and then court-martialed or censured in some way. That's one nice thing about, or bad thing.
Boy, if you're on an active reserve and you thought you were safe.
Oh. For once, it could be you. Look, I need all of you to pause for just a moment, because there's plenty of how do they think they can get away with this? Well, I would like to roll you all back to a very certain captain who stood around in uniform while on active duty. No, probably not the one you're thinking of. On this beach, screaming about, shoot Donald Trump, all kinds of just craziness. Right. And it was fine. No one did anything. So before we all go, hey, this is the minimum, right? Which was the, not wrong opening of this. We are at bare minimum, back to the minimum. All right. It has not been a short road. It has not been one person did this and then we clamped down on it. 3 or 4 years ago, there were hundreds of people doing this, and the consequences were getting promoted.
Yeah, in fact, I want to address that specifically. I think that what needs to happen with each and every one of these cases is that their promotion boards need to be looked at, and the people who signed off on those promotion boards need to be deeply, deeply investigated. And in my opinion, because this is the UCMJ, assumed criminal until proven otherwise.
My favorite is the guy actually is commenting from his barracks room in his brown t-shirt, like we don't realize who you are and where you are.
let me find that one, how far down it is. Oh yeah. Oh boy.
Article 134 is the answer here, right? Or
Article
any other
behavior
prejudicial to the good order and discipline, right?
Yeah. If you're enlisted, BCD. If you're an officer, a lot worse.
Okay, hold it. Pause right there. No more of this dishonorable discharge. Okay, if I was active duty and took to the streets, took to social media.
You're right. You mean Leavenworth. You're right.
And that's what they get, and that needs to be the standard. No more. Because, by the way, what do you think is going to happen to these people? Probably a full third of them will go over to leftist outlets and get a job. I was persecuted for using my First Amendment right. The right doesn't believe in free speech. And they'll sit there and they'll whine and they'll moan, just like that idiot Marine that used to be on the Young Turks, who did exactly this sort of thing for freaking years. Okay? No, don't send them home. Send them to the brig. Forever.
Ironically enough, there's, this is where I would normally say, hey, Sean, what do you think about this? But with UCMJ, I don't know how much you know about UCMJ, Sean.
It's a whole separate fun.
Yeah, it's a whole
And it can
separate
be
game,
stacked.
and
Yeah.
making, not acting like a shitbag is an offense in the UCMJ on its own. So
this
they
guy
get to
right
decide
here,
what it is.
This guy right here is a
actually
lieutenant.
final. You can stack them.
Right. And so here we go. These are just the ones I came up with off the top of my head. So Article 88, contempt towards officials. Now, I know that Charlie Kirk is not technically official, but he, as an advisor and associate to the president, could absolutely be covered under this in a very kind of broad blanket way. Article 133, which is conduct unbecoming of an officer and a gentleman. Yes, that is a felony offense if you you do that. But yes, that's still in the and this is clearly a conduct unbecoming, right?
Conduct becoming a United States Marine is also a UCMG violation. So
this is likely the most directly applicable statute, probably. Let's see. Publicly celebrating or mocking the assassination of a fellow American, especially a public figure, could be construed as unbecoming, particularly given the military's expectation of professionalism and neutrality. And then also you got 134, which is, I think that's the one you cited, Joe, the general article. It's kind of like literally if you do anything that we want to court-martial you for, it isn't covered in any of the other articles. We can throw it under that.
Well, it was prejudicial to the good order and discipline.
Exactly right. Prejudicial, good order, discipline, and conduct bringing discredit amongst the armed forces. And I think this absolutely
applies for 134. I want to address something in the chat. Suran asked if this is like the Troubles. Absolutely. We're beginning to see the American version of the Troubles, but the American version of the Troubles is going to be very, very different because in Northern Ireland, firearms were actually kind of hard to come by. They're not here.
Mm-hmm. We had to ship
them there. She said that her son said the difference is the IRA was defending against an occupier. Oh, your son is misguided. It began that way, but then the Protestants and the Catholics began fighting as well, and there were about 6 different sides to the IRA troubles, just as there will be here. It was far more complicated than defending against an occupier.
Yeah,
every local area will become their own side. Don't kid yourself. The only reason there were only 6 or 7 sides in Ireland is because it was a small island that's basically the size of a county.
Well, it was only a fraction of the island too. But I think you guys have seen this before. But Matt Bracken, the author, he kind of drew up the Civil War cube. It's a it's going to be a multi-axis thing. It's not just going to be left versus right. You're going to have a lot of different things going on.
Well,
there's going to be, there's going to be multiple axes of racial elements, socioeconomic elements that may fall into racial and political issues, but it's going to be, rural and urban. There's going to be a million different ways it breaks down.
It's going to be
like the Spanish Civil War.
Right.
Yeah. Can I just say that oddly enough, most of the action, especially in the early days of an American Civil War, will come from the lack of any kind of police presence in crime-ridden areas, and those areas will descend upon each other first, and then they will start to spread out once they warlord and gang and supersize their gangs. Right.
By the way,
those will go ahead, Joe.
I'm sorry, Scott. This thought popped into my head and I had to say it or I would have forgotten. So I apologize to you. But do not forget that the movie Civil War came out in April, and it came out 2 months after Barack Obama's abysmal film. What was that one called about the power going out? What was that movie called? Leave the World Behind.
Yeah.
There's a script and you're in the middle of it. And I don't mean that from a Q perspective of you're watching a movie, white hats are in control. No, I mean, this is a planned and contained campaign that is meant to get us to this point. And sure, this guy was a useful idiot they used to push buttons and escalate the violence. But that doesn't change things. Someone's going to respond and then someone else is going to respond. Yeah. You are on that path. And hey, Squishy Hunter, I get it. The Civil War movie was retarded. It doesn't mean it didn't convey their image.
Yeah.
Right? It didn't have to be good. It set the seed and set the tone. And to people who already believed the tropes in the movie about you and me, it made perfect sense. And it was a fantastic movie to them because they already believe that.
Who are the target audience?
Yeah. Even Mike Shelby yesterday said, I'm beginning to think they're right when they said Donald Trump is the last American president.
Speaking of things that we can do in response to this, Donald Trump actually has some ideas. If you go to the Benny Johnson link in the private chat,
sure,
it's the very bottom one.
Private chat. Yes, sorry. Give me just a moment.
Anti-comic on funny, and I will never be able to forget that now. Instead of a gun bunny. So
I had one the other night. I went to a restaurant, and this woman stood up. I looked at her immediately. She had money. She wasn't serious. They get paid for it. They're professional from Soros and other people. And we're going to look into Soros because I think it's a RICO case against him and other people. Because this is more than like protests. This is real agitation. This is riots on the street. And we're going to look into that.
What do we do about our country with that?
Not with this. I'm sorry. Look,
yeah,
it's obvious that we should have been doing this from day one. Why didn't you? Because Pam Bondi told you not to. So unless you're willing to replace her.
8 months ago, he was going to release the Epstein files too, and disband the FBI.
Which, by the way, someone really needs to get how the FBI performed here to Trump, because an unimaginably large quantity of boomers are out there right now being like, oh, the FBI is so solid. The FBI did amazing things. No. I understand that you have no idea what an investigation is, how it works, what anybody does. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, for anybody, and by the way, if you just watched enough crime drama, you could probably figure out the FBI didn't do anything here. All right? They are horrifically bad at their jobs, unless they're coming for you.
Or I will say once again, because it's always true, their crime lab is top-notch. But if it's not
the parts of that crime lab that haven't been discredited.
Yeah.
Yes, but yeah, I'm talking. If it's not direct forensic physical evidence, then good luck.
Yeah, but no, the FBI is a disaster, and this idea that it's been cleaned out in 8 months now is ridiculous too. It's going to be, I still think you disband it, and then that's the way you fix it. But it's not going to be fixed. It's still full of scumbags. On top of that,
Hunch the Dirty Roofer said, "Oh yeah, this is a great one. This is something that's going out there.
So is this real or AI?
I think this is fake, but this design is out there on other. I've seen this design other places, so it's clearly getting spread around. Like hey, wouldn't this be cool if we did this?"
I believe the cartoon itself first appeared as a hand drawing in the University of Louisiana, where they're instituting a full investigation, trying to figure out who it was.
Hunch a Dirty Roofer for $2 says, "Why am I expecting urban crickets to be going off in the background of all these videos?"
Because the reason why you didn't hear them is because the U.S. military requires them to change them, so change the batteries. But anyway,
random PMW guy 84 for $10. Thank you very much for the support. Can we white pill for a second? If you were POTUS, how would you get us off this road to war and bring back a healthy discourse, or bearing an act of God? Is it not possible at this point?
It's not a government
function, guys.
This is not a government not a function of government. This is a two sides are going to go at each other regardless of who is in charge. I would have thought that the Donald Trump first administration would have proven to you that the president is largely irrelevant. The Biden administration, where the president was a non-existent character, yet the government still functioned, should have proven to you that there's nothing the president can do. And now the second Trump presidency should also prove it, because he says they're doing lots of things and the agencies say, yeah, we're not doing that, because the president doesn't really run the government. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So, in a what could he do, right? Go to war with all the things that Joe was just talking about.
Correct.
That's the most he could do. And by the way, he's probably going to lose.
The best thing he can do is what he's doing, deploying National Guard troops to try and control some of the worst cities. But it's not going to work. It's going to backfire. It's going to say, "See, we told you he was going to be a fascist."
But here's the problem with the problem is not like one person or one group of people or even one city or something like that. It's the entire American culture that's been engineered to do exactly what it's doing right now. And the sad thing is everybody said, "Oh, Scott, it's not that crazy. It's not. There's no kind of like." Unseen hand guiding us towards some Marxist-Leninist utopian, government. Well, no, there was. It wasn't one person. It was this kind of like collectivization of education early on, right? And then essentially once you take over the schools of education, you take over the teachers, right? And once you get the teachers talking to the kids, it takes about 20 years for that to kick in. And well, guess what? We're about 25 years downstream of when these schools were fully institutionalized at Marxist hellholes. If you guys remember, it was the late 90s when everybody was like, "What the fuck is this?" Like everybody gets a trophy thing. That was it. That was the kind of the obvious sign that by the way none of the parents cared about because they were too fucking busy making money during the dot-com boom and things like that. And so they weren't paying attention to their kids. Let me give you a great example of this is what happens when you don't fucking pay attention to your kid. So there's one of these watcher. It is the third link in segment 2. Play that one, Defiant L's post on X.
Oh, man. I know
Gentlemen,
exactly what's coming. Well, while you're getting that, let me tell you a story. Because that same time frame.
Go ahead.
I grew up in California. I didn't even grow up in like the San Franciscos or anything. I grew up a decent amount outside of Sacramento, out in the hills. And when I was a freshman in high school, when all of you probably, were thinking like, "Oh, this trophy nonsense is madness" or whatever. The gay straight alliance, I think now pretty much dead, was a big deal at the time, and we were all very worried about the gays and their various rights and this, that, and the other. And so, in my school, 2 gay guys stood on top of tables in the cafeteria and made out for 40 minutes. Okay, now at the same time, if you were kissing your girlfriend on campus, you were suspended. Okay, just at all. Period. Not being disruptive to anything. The things that were going on at that same time, but everybody's getting a trophy, were way worse if you happen to just live in the wrong part of the country. Okay. And I did. And so all these things, nobody ever met a transgender until 2018. Yes, I did. They were there. These things were going on. And in the strongholds of the left, they were open and blatant. Of equal weight and value, I went a couple of years later, standing around talking to some guys at school that's out, and this black guy runs up and sucker punches a white dude. White dude turns around and beats the hell out of him. Black guy gets a nice assembly talking about how we shouldn't be racist. White guy gets expelled. Okay? These things are not new. None of them.
Yeah.
Well,
The
I'd rather
interest-
listen to Don rant than what we're about to listen to.
Oh, wouldn't we all? But I here's the thing. Like, as a father of daughters, I think it's very important. If there's one young man who maybe has a young daughter or something like that in the chat, this is worth watching just for that. Just if he can just get, like, this is what fucking happens when you let society or school or her friends or the internet raise your kid. Go.
He deserves to be shot because he said that if his daughter got raped, she would have to go through with the pregnancy. So I don't care that he got shot. if you said something deplorable like that, then yeah, someone would probably shoot you.
By the way, I just want you guys.
This is the point at which you stop and call the fucking police.
So I think you got to play just a little more, just so you can see the absolute, just perturbed, just obtuse nature that she's showing. But let me just say, a lot of red flags just in the small snippet of this girl's life that we can see, with the rainbow flag or banner on the background, the two-tone fucking hair, which is, what the fuck is that all about? When she lifts her head, you'll see the piercings.
I hadn't even seen her, but just this pause. I was
that's what I'm saying.
The pause tells me everything.
And then look at her hair. Just go ahead and push play. Look at her hair and the style that it is. It's clearly some sort of like leftist Antifa cool girl cut.
With his daughter going through with the pregnancy, if she was, then I don't care that he got shot. Exactly, it doesn't affect me, so I don't care. Because that's a disgusting thing for him to say. So if he were to say something like that, it's literally like, it makes perfect sense that he got, because he's a terrible, disgusting human being. Like, you can't just go around saying terrible, disgusting things and...
Yeah, nope, sorry. This is the point at which you literally have her involuntarily committed.
Oh.
What's funny is they believe they're morally right. So somebody said the other day, or last night, they were like, but wouldn't the guy be nervous, and wouldn't he have buck fever? He's about to shoot another human being. These people don't think like you and me.
They're
they don't
psychos.
Shooting another human being.
Exactly.
Yeah,
they're gleeful.
And they think they're saving the world.
Let's get more important on this. They don't view you as a human being. They don't. They haven't for quite a long time now. Well, I'm sorry that this is the first time it's being broken to you. Welcome to the world. They've been telling you this for 10 years, that they're willing to kill for this.
Yeah, when you realize the point that, like, you say something that offends them, that means that's a death penalty to them.
That's why they've always been saying that words are violence, right? Because violence justifies violence. And there was one little moment in the video that me as a student of human behavior want to point out. It's when she notices in her own video that her septum piercing isn't perfect and she adjusts it. She cares more about the image the video creates than the actual thoughts she's expressing. She doesn't actually believe any of this. She's just saying it for the image. And when push comes to shove, she's going to have a hard time justifying her position.
And just for the record, this father is a failure as a father. You can, before you ever hear her talk, you just look at the freeze frame and you can see he's a failure. So second, he's sitting there. Okay, at least he's challenging her. You give some credit for that. 15 seconds into her kind of like diatribe, I would have basically put my hand on her collar, picked her up, frog marched her outside the house, pushed her into the yard, closed the door behind her, and then began to take her shit and throw it out her window into whatever part of the yard is right outside. And I'd be like, listen, you want to come back, clean your fucking self up, and come to Jesus.
Listen, you're 19 years old. Bye. You talk about how much you hate me and the things I believe for, but I'm paying for your literal existence.
I would add that I would only actually throw the stuff out in the yard that actually literally belonged to her, things that she had purchased.
That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't anything that is mine because I paid for it, here's the other thing. Now, Watcher, you got to go down. I think it's 2 more links. Yeah, the Mike Shelby link, because not all of them are clueless.
Well, I knew you wouldn't get arrested. It's been ruled time and time again that parents have an absolute right to corporal punishment of their children, regardless of age.
The Ninth Circuit Court has ruled this, and if they have,
California.
You're good.
Yeah, that's California, my man.
Yeah, so not all crazy trans leftists are sitting around oxygen thieving off of their parents. Some are out there training. Now, they can't shoot for shit in this video, or do immediate action drills, or have their sights on, or whatever.
I mean, their work, their problem solving is what, like, they are working through it. I mean, they're not running it like they're Chris Costa, but look, I'm having a malfunction. Why is this not working?
That's a blast from the past, Chris Costa.
Yeah, but I'm just saying they are working problems. They're not necessarily working with the speed you may approve of, but this is somebody working through their problems.
She's doing a sports drill, right?
Yeah, this is problem solving under time. This is shooting. Yep. Oh, God, I picked it up. I'm figuring it out. That's more training than a lot of people will ever do.
Look,
you need to understand that once they began this wholesale training like this, they're ready to actually fight you.
Yeah. Look, we need to go to the other thing that I was asking if we wanted to do then now. Okay. This was not, Charlie Kirk was not some high precision turbo sniper shot, right? And what is it that guys who have used rifles basically ever have told you? You can get someone to this level of proficiency in a day. Okay. So mock them all you want. There is a day of training.
Listen, when we used to do marksmanship as day one of the scout course, we got every single person, regardless of experience in that class, and it was usually 30 to 35 people, to score hits at 450 meters in a single day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I basically have said this guy is essentially 6 hours of training in, and he's good. He let's be honest. This guy probably has more training than 6 hours.
He does. This kid has been. His dad has 21 years in the sheriff's department. There's pictures of him with weapons and all kinds of stuff doing training since the time he was 14. That's as early as I have those pictures, by the way. It could go much further back than that.
Anybody else want to kind of go into deep water on where this can go? I mean, a lot of people are throwing. Let me preface this, and then you guys take it where you want. A lot of people are saying like Civil War. A lot of people are saying, revenge. A lot of people are saying things like this. Where are you guys thinking? What are you worried about? And what do you think is likely? Because there's a difference between like most dangerous and most likely. What are you guys thinking?
I promise to be brief. I have 3 things to say.
Yes.
1, the biggest danger we have is normalcy bias. The average person going, yeah, but that was Charlie Kirk. They don't really want to kill me. So that's problem 1. Problem 2 is I'm going to let Aragorn speak for us all and say, open war is upon you, whether you would risk it or not. And the last thing I'm going to say is you are already in the collapse.
Yeah.
Listen, I want to address basically what I have to say is a direct address to that video that we had last time. That video that we just had. I am watching my local small town Facebook group, which is literally it's almost 90% different small businesses trying to tell you that they've got sales, or people posting food that they ate at local restaurants, or people bitching at each other about sports, or all kinds of stuff. It's not that anymore. Most of the posts are having to be removed. There's giant gaps and everything. I am telling you from watching it that I know, as well as I know the sun rises, that before the end of next year, the average American will be familiar with the concept of what a night letter is. Because as these people tell us blatantly that they will kill you for disagreeing with them, people in the community are starting to realize that that's not a joke. It's very serious, and it's come home to them. Because one of the things my wife commented on is that Charlie Kirk, one of the miraculous things is there are creators and people from literally all over the world that are reaching out to say how much Charlie Kirk impacted them. It's not just Americans. It's like literally anybody in the world who was... In fact, if I go so far, the way we define right and left is essentially who is on the side of the current communist revolution and who is against it. And essentially every single person in the world who was against it seems to have been personally shaken by this, and for good reason. I believe that what will happen is that people will start to say, we don't actually have to live with you among us. I made a post about it. It's a little bit poignant, so I'll kind of come back to that, but they'll come in the small hours. Sometimes it'll be just one, sometimes it'll be dozens, and sometimes it'll be hundreds. They'll be masked, they'll have their bodies fully covered, they'll understand where the security cameras are in the neighborhood, and the ones that are friendly will mysteriously be turned off. They're not going to knock, they're not going to break things, they're not going to hurt anybody, but they'll have a letter that'll say some variation of, you live among us and you wish us death, and we don't have to put up with that anymore. Leave now with grace and your family and wealth intact, or don't leave at all.
Hey, speaking of, your Wolf 14 or whatever version of PBS 14 you have will tell you exactly where every single security camera in your neighborhood is and where it's pointing.
Yeah, and let me make this point before we move on, because I don't want people to get this wrong, because a lot of people initially thought immediately that I was talking about right-wing death squads, and other people thought immediately that I must be talking about the left-wing brown shirts. No, this will be literally everyone. Every single one of those factions of the Civil War that we just talked about, every local partisan group, every single one of them will do this. This is what is coming.
Here's the difference.
This is how things will start.
The left is doing that already and has been for over
years.
3 years.
And they will train their opposition, who will then essentially act exactly the way they're acting to protect themselves.
Yep.
Sean, just from a kind of I mean, you're somebody who deals with the criminal element.
Yes.
I mean, where do you think this goes when regular people stop acting like regular people and start acting more like the animals that are attacking them every day? And this goes beyond just Charlie Kirk and goes sadly, the issue that everybody has forgotten about, that was literally on everybody's the tips of everybody's lips on Wednesday, which was Irina, the Ukrainian girl who was stabbed to death. I mean, because I think that's actually, in a lot of ways, that's more poignant to the average urban dweller than maybe Charlie Kirk's death is. Sean?
Well, I think a lot of, especially from what I can tell, interacting with a lot of women, see that like, oh my God, that's me. They acknowledge, like, they see that. But this kind of goes along with the whole idea of, not just training, but just the things that, organizing your community, knowing your neighbors, and your, getting all that together. Will there be a push for, regular people to start, addressing criminal matters themselves and acting in certain ways? Sure. The problem is you're not a professional at it. And, I think people like to think that they might want to go one way or another, but most people aren't built for those kind of lives. But as far as this guy here, this then becomes, again, this issue of the use of the criminal element to destabilize a society is a very common tactic. I mean, you empty the jails, you can empty the prisons, and you can destabilize society. You can control a society that way. I think the best example of that's Assad. He emptied out the jails and turned all those guys, hey, ISIS guys, before they were ISIS, hey, you go do what you want to do. You go about your day. And he turned them loose into the streets to control the population. I mean, that is a tool of control. That is a tool. It's a very effective tool of control. And you're going to see that more and more and more, especially in places like Charlotte, Chicago, New York. We're seeing that, but you're going to see more and more of it. I mean, there's, people are trying to push back against it, but then you see people like Mamdani, where it's like, we're going to disband the gang intelligence unit. We're going to disband everything except for like writing parking tickets and arresting Daniel Penny.
Watcher, I want to remind people, Don, I want you to kind of clean up on us here for a second. And before you do, I want to show this bit of clip to show you exactly what the Charlie Kirk of the left was saying, I don't know, forever.
I'm sick and tired of it. Left-wingers, liberals, you need to be fucking showing your opponents guts on there, okay? You need to be gutting them. You need to be shanking these motherfuckers and letting their intestines just ride on stage. What the fuck is this shit, man? Slice them up. Slice them and fucking dice them. What the fuck is this? You cannot have a bigger fucking layup. You could not have had a bigger fucking layup than a horrible candidate like Herschel Walker. Sure, he was prepared very well. And Herschel Walker actually had a good
thing we do
just
need to make sure we do. We got to keep attracting younger viewers that, grow up on TikTok, when they're 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, even though they shouldn't be.
3, it's like all here. Now this guy is down. He's dead. These guys are like
and fatally wounded.
They're not even running. They're not even like cowering and running away and screaming in fear. There's like, okay, well, they did it. We got our shots. Okay, is this guy done? Oh shit. Well, okay. Well, we brought the white.
It's called shock, you fucking idiots. It's called shock. Anything that happens, I mean, like, holy shit, guys. If you live in Florida, I have an opportunity for you. If you want to earn $100,000, let me know. Jesus fucking Christ.
Flags, we can put that over the bleeding part. Assuming he got shot and is actually right.
A flag
and then this guy.
874.
It's having issues. Sorry.
That's right. But anyway, you get the point. Like these left-wing commentators, the mainstream left-wing commentators on YouTube and social media were out there basically calling for just not anybody. In the case of the last one, he was actually giving doxing an address.
Yeah,
but
coming right now. I've got it re-pulled up.
But essentially, okay, yeah.
74 Bellevue Drive, and I'm gonna kill you with my AR-15. Like that's the type of messages they were leaving in this dude's office, and he's resigning. Like he's literally, this is his last term. So I think that people are a lot more radical.
It's hurt.
Don, with animals like these, egging on kids as young as 8 years old, as they admit, what are we to do?
So I'm going to take a brief digression and answer in short your prior question, which is what is the worst thing that can happen? And the answer is nothing.
Yeah.
If nothing fucking happens, that's the worst thing that can happen.
Okay, that's fair.
So
what do we do about this?
Yeah.
It's a real question and a good one. I know that any answer to this is going to be unpalatable at best. And I think for those of you looking to the government, the best that they can do for this, by the way, is the world's biggest RICO case. And I mean the world's biggest. Thousands of people in prison for life. The Hassan Pikers, the Destinies, all of these people, prison for life.
I disagree. I think that there's a very easy thing they could do, and it changes the context of everything that's happening immediately, and that is to rightfully designate Antifa, BLM, and any of the other groups that are launching a literal Marxist revolution as terrorist organizations, and you begin raids, and you monitor all of the people who should be going on those raids, and the ones that start to try and leak information about it or have literally any kind of objection are gone tomorrow. I'm sorry, we're at war.
Hold on. If we're going that route, and by the way, I'm not opposed. No, RICO is just the methodology for that. Methodology.
Can I just push pause, Don, real quick? Sean's got to take off. Hey, Sean, real quick, what's your kind of worst nightmare with all this?
That nobody does anything. But I think the worst one is, people that don't take the time to make whatever response they feel, but that it's not measured, and they don't take the time to reflect. That's the biggest thing right now. It's whatever route you feel is the right route. don't be buffalo jumped. You make your decisions based on your own timetable.
Yeah.
Just not rash action, I guess is my thing. Whatever you want that to be, just not rashly.
Sean, I'm glad you could join us. I know you've been busy, and our morning time slot makes it harder for you. So I appreciate you jumping on, and anytime we'd be happy to have you back, brother.
Of course. You guys, see you guys, and everybody be well, be safe out there.
All right, take care, brother. Thank you.
See you later.
If I may just package this in a way that I think is palatable to everybody, we're already in a civil war. The only question is, will the right use the power of the government which they currently hold in order to fight it, or will they not? Those are the questions before us.
Yes.
Don, yeah, I want you to go back to you because I know you're percolating something.
To return to where we were, the people who are leaking things are not out. They are providing aid and comfort to the enemies of the United States. Okay?
Correct.
And yes, that is very specific language because it should be used. Period. There are any number of people who are, but maybe we shouldn't. Yes, we should. Okay. Equally, I don't care what method of seizing their funds you would like to go with. Seize them. There are a few ways to do this. What is that stupid law that we use all the time for drug dealers?
Asset forfeiture.
There you go. Civil asset forfeiture works for me. Debank them works for me. We didn't get rid of the Consumer Protection Financial Bureau, which means debanking is still on the table, boys. So destaff that thing immediately and put people who are in for the cause in there so that even if you seize their assets, no one else can give them money except cash in hand in person and then put them in prison and leave them there.
Yeah, use the same network identification tools that we have on the last 10 years worth of data, which is, hey, conveniently already been prepackaged so that it can be shipped into LLMs. Isn't that neat? Literally take that data and form these networks and start tearing them the fuck apart.
It's not just the individuals, right? It's the groups, all the groups that, for instance, I mean, like, we're not a dim Jews kind of people, but like the Southern Poverty Law Center and the ADL have targeted and named Charlie Kirk as a white nationalist, right?
Yep.
Anybody who is in that, I mean, you could do it specifically for the death of Charlie Kirk, but you could literally do it for broader swaths of people like that have been threatened. Now, Joe, you're tracking like all the right wing individuals that have been slandered and named as an enemy by so many different people. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Let me hit. We got some super chats here. Let me make sure. Okay, so Derna for $5. How many times have you seen the left believe something zealously and believe the opposite 2 weeks later? Politics is ego and tribe. They have no values. Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, just look at the Democrats circa 2008 on the border. And they were pretty strong on it.
Let me
8 years later,
here.
they couldn't believe it.
Let me pause here. Stop thinking they have the same goals as you.
Yeah.
And you will start seeing their values. Their values were on full display at about 2:20 p.m. in Utah.
Their values are to kill you and be the only viewpoint that exists. That's literally it. Listen, when the fundamental of your understanding of the world starts with there is no truth, only power, you fundamentally cannot exist in any other system. That's it. Like, you have to be eliminated.
I'll say the same thing about them as I do about the Chinese. Stop applying your morality to them because it's not the same. Mm-hmm. They don't think the same way you do. They don't believe the same. They don't believe the same things you do are justified, right? Stop saying, well, it doesn't make sense that they would kill me just because of my beliefs. It doesn't to you. It does to them. And that's what you need to understand.
And by the way, for anybody who thinks that's radical or new or whatever, that is what Mao's 3 olds were about. That's what the kulaks is about. That every single communist revolution in history has this group of people that they hate, that they kill. You're just it today. You're that group of people.
Yeah.
Hey, fun fact about that too. You never stop being that group of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like, and it's not, that doesn't just apply to us. Name a single group that the communists have named as enemies that are ever rehabilitated.
Not enemies.
Oh, they're openly talking today, right now, about how the kulaks were bad. It's been basically a century. There haven't been kulaks in anybody's lifetime, basically. And they're still happy to tell you, A, that it was the right thing to do, and B, that they should use the model current.
Well-armed corgi for $20. The response has been tepid, disappointing, and bordering on nothing.
So this happened after the show started. Two major things. One, somebody started, and by somebody I mean White House somebody, I think it was Trump, said, hey, maybe we just go straight after Soros now. And two, Trump got told yet again to disavow the far right. And he went, no. The far right are people who are upset that they're going to be victims of crime. So it's not nothing. No, it's not what we all hope for, right? It's not. It is not that knee-jerk reaction like, fine, pull the entire U.S. military out of the rest of the world, bring them back home, and let's clean this up now. That's not happening.
Well, hey, let's be clear. That's. I do believe people when they say that there is foreign influence in this. I just don't believe it's the same foreign influence they think it is, and in fact, it would go directly against the interests of those particular people. But this is to get us off the world stage. That's what it is. I don't care. It's worked.
Yeah.
If you could put up, so like there are signs that I think are positive, and some of them seem kind of like the easy button, but it's kind of some of it. I mean, it hits a different way. If you could share the link I just put in the private chat. By the way, before Rob Painless for $20. More important now than ever to get to know like-minded people and allies in your area. Mutual support groups and mags are very important.
Not just in your area, right? Go to a class, meet groups in other areas, so that you have a safe house network to move.
Yeah.
So I took this picture today, and I thought at first maybe it was because of 9/11, and I verified, and it's not. This flag is not at half staff automatically for 9/11. The flag today was at half staff for Charlie Kirk, and so seeing that in a different country with that country's flag next to it at half staff as well. I mean, I thought that was a very good, small symbolic gesture that it's just that his death is being like identified as something important, right?
So,
and this was just something. This was in front of my daughter's school, so it was just. And she asked me, she's like, "Are people talking about it at work?" And I said, a little bit, but not a lot, because we don't talk about politics a lot at work. And she said a lot of people are talking about it at school, and most people don't know how to think. It's like they don't know how they feel.
As long as we're sharing international reaction, I won't say who, because I don't share DMs when I can avoid it. I will just say what they said. This is someone that the show knows in South Africa. I'm thinking about my friends in the U.S. This is a line that can't be uncrossed. It's gone too far. And then he shared the Untouchables scene from the he pulls a knife, you pull a gun scene. Charlie Kirk touched so many lives in South Africa. So many people here distraught over it. And I said, that's amazing. I would have never guessed that his videos were popular in South Africa. And he says, way more than you think, to which he shared this, which is a memorial that's been set up in South Africa for Charlie.
So I don't think the left has any idea what they've done. And I think that's the enduring impact. And in good, bad, or indifferent, I think there's going to be a lot of
That's why in the last 12 hours, you've seen a lot of them come out with some phony statements trying to back away from what they said 24 hours before. And
because they're scared.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're scared.
Was it Ezra Klein? Charlie Kirk was doing politics right. No. Enough of this. You don't get to demonize a guy for a decade and a half, get what you wanted, and then evade responsibility. No.
Yeah, exactly. This is the response they wanted, and that's why they all cheered it on the first day.
My favorite of this too is, we don't know who did this. Get fucked. Get utterly.
Yeah, we
fucked.
we'd have no idea what the motivations of the shooter are. Come on, Van Jones, you know exactly what the.
And look, maybe you guys will tell me I'm being unreasonable here. Fine, but like before, they were like, "Oh, we don't know who the shooter is." No, we know who the shooter is. We don't know their name, but we know exactly what their background is. We know what their ideology is. You don't get to tell somebody that you're going to murder them for doing something for 10 years and then murder them for doing it. And everybody goes, "Oh, I wonder who it could have been. Maybe it was just a random schizo." Get fucked.
Or an MSNBC. Well, we don't know, but it may have been one of his supporters firing off a gun in celebration. Are we Afghanistan? Are we Iraq? No.
Yeah, I was going to say those are the people you're importing. That's not us.
That's not a thing. And I want to give a response. Lamy said Stephen King backpedaled quickly, and I know, Watcher, you mentioned it. Stephen King didn't backpedal. His publicist called him and said, "Listen, if you ever want to sell books again, back the F up." Right.
Which, hey, all these people, by the way, document them. Every single one of them, document them, hound them. This doesn't end. I'm sorry, but this ends when you can give Charlie's kids his parents back.
Yeah. I find that to be an acceptable end myself.
You know, there are several people on X that are actively crowdsourcing, and cataloging who these people are. I know the Quartering is doing it. I'm not a huge fan of the Quartering, but I know he's doing that.
Asmongold's doing it in the gaming space, and I think it's wonderful because he's got one of the biggest microphones possible, and he has already blasted so many fucking fake activists in the space. It's ridiculous. I hope the entire gaming industry crashes from this. Listen, what is happening today needs to be noticeable in the jobs numbers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But by the
tens of thousands of people fired after, and you've already seen
gets fiery.
That pair of names, right? Any other day of any other week, Asmongold and the Quartering would be, they're the kind of normie-ish guys. There's a reason that got prefaced with, "I don't like the Quartering that much," because it's kind of weak sauce nonsense. And these guys are out for blood. Thank fucking God.
The fucking that Star Wars girl, the most normie of all kind of cultural commentators, is like on the fucking like red pill warpath. And I mean, she's somebody who like famously, like, she got involved in Comicsgate and basically said, "I'm not political, but I just don't like it when they mess up our things, right?
Yeah.
Like our comics and our art and the video games and things like that." I'm like, okay, I can respect that. And she doesn't want to get into the Trump shit and all that kind of stuff. But now she's like full on, like, and she's like, make these people famous and everything. So I just think it's really interesting to see the evolution of people who were very normie 48 hours ago.
Yes. And by the way, one thing that I don't think we have addressed at all, if you are one of the tiny handful of people, and thank God it's a tiny handful, who are spurging that, "Oh my God, but they're canceling leftists," go fuck yourself. I cannot say that hard enough.
Yeah.
Get out of the conversation.
They're leftists. They should be canceled. Leftists should be canceled just for their thought crime, right?
I'm done. Like I said this a long time ago. Free speech is a mutually assured destruction issue, and they've already proven that they do not believe in.
Well, but here's the thing, right? You can clearly satisfy the idea of. I mean, I kind of wish Sean was here to debate me a little bit on this, but I don't think he would. This is very much like inciting, calls to action. This is seditious conspiracy. It is, conspiracy to commit murder, conspiracy to. I mean, because people talk about this kind of stuff. Well, I know somebody should do this. Yeah, somebody should do this. Well, if one of them does it, then all of them are in it, right? And every person this guy listened to on YouTube. And that said, oh, we should spill their guts, or we should kill these people. I'm going to come to their house with an AR-15 and blow them away. If they said something like that and he watched their content, they're on the fucking stand with it.
Solicitation.
Yeah,
you don't actually have to offer money or speak to a specific person to be guilty of solicitation to commit a crime. Hence, them attempting to charge Donald Trump with solicitation to commit a crime, right? Over January 6th.
Yeah, I need to find it, honestly. And this is not something I say frequently. I like this person. I think he's very funny. I think Sam Hyde is probably one of the funniest people in my generation. Sam Hyde basically had the right take on this. Like, the only proper response to this, the only response to this that makes any sense is, I'm sorry, we go full on. Like, that's it. We drop every single pretense and we go after them full tilt. That's what they have now done to us.
Hey, let's point out that low key LARP is really doing some heavy lifting over on Rumble.
Yeah, I just noticed he dropped 5 more gifted subs over on Rumble. That's 10, I think, for the show so far. So, thank you, brother, for that support. I just want to make sure I get all the super chats as they come in. I don't want to miss any.
Well, I'll tell you what, you look for them for a minute. There's another group of people that we should talk about here. If you are a politician who is calling for unity right now, out of office, I get it.
Especially if you're on the right.
Yeah. I get it.
Sides.
If you both sides, I get it. They're not Antifa. They didn't shoot Charlie Kirk. They're not directly responsible for this. But also, you have no place in the discourse anymore. You're gone. Go home, retire. You did whatever soft pansy shit you did during the time that you were in office. And because of that soft pansy shit, this guy lost his life. And by the way, I'm not exaggerating. If 10 years ago, when Antifa was burning down half the damn country, we would have done something about this, but there were calls for unity, we probably wouldn't be here right now.
Hey, I'm sharing the link. You triggered me with both sides-ism. Play this one.
Oh, I'm so I'm ready to shove that down somebody's fucking throat right now.
I'm sick of
how we got. Sorry, go ahead, Joe.
Let me get this out. I'm old. I forget things. Like people like AOC, who yesterday came out and said that we got to turn down the rhetoric. She is directly responsible for what led to this. AOC is probably the biggest offender of politicians on the left.
Oh, by the way, to clarify, I meant politicians on the right. The politicians on the right.
We have no control over the left, and I don't care to.
My enemy hates me, and I know it. All right. But if you are supposed to be on my side and you're calling for unity, then fuck you.
So much. There is a lot of blame to go around. I do not see you guys as victims. You give as good as you get. There is a lot of anger. There is a lot of exaggeration. It is all hate for profit on the fringe of this battle.
He was literally on this scum. Oh my. He was on his fucking show like 2 fucking weeks ago. Die in a fire. Die in a fucking fire.
By the way, binary political system. My question is,
my
question is now what?
Charlie Kirk has never advocated. Charlie Kirk has never advocated violence ever. Charlie Kirk was only.
I'm not saying he did.
A nonviolent, peaceful debater. He went into places where he knew he was hated, in order to engage.
I agree.
Kindly and humanly
that
with people.
he was not about violence.
For you to say that it's the same thing.
Hold on.
It's not, Chris.
Hold on. I'm not talking about it with Charlie. Benny, don't play games with me. I'm giving you attitude because you deserve it.
You know what?
No,
fuck yourself. No.
No, don't.
He literally said scary and it hurts, and it could have just as easily.
Hey, I want to make sure this is important that people hear fucking Chris Cuomo on this because he's one of these like moderate guys. He's pushing himself as a moderate. No, he's not a fucking moderate. Yeah. He has absolutely spoon-fed this stuff to himself for so long that he's so full of shit that he doesn't even know what's coming out of his fucking eyes.
You could make the legal case that he just threatened Benny Johnson's life.
You absolutely said 100%.
Hold on, Benny. It could have just as easily have been you.
Yeah.
Nah, bro. Nah.
Rewind it a little bit so the people can hear what he said because we were kind of stepping on it.
Yeah, let's.
I'm giving you latitude because you deserve it because this was your friend and this is scary and it hurts and it could have just as easily been you.
The dehumanization is wrong. It's wrong. And
There's no question, but Benny,
you'll never be able to chew me out, Chris, because I'll never dehumanize.
Benny,
if I hear that Joe Biden gets a terminal cancer diagnosis, I'll say a prayer for him. I'll say that I hope he lives the rest of his days painless. That's exactly what I said, and every person that I know and respect, and I know them all in my ecosystem, said the same thing. Not a single one of us celebrated. Not a single one of us celebrated Joe Biden's terminal cancer diagnosis. Now, I can show you a endless series of TikToks and celebration posts and T-shirts made celebrating this travesty. There is a fundamental difference of those who glorify death on the left, and it is demonic, it's sick, and it's dark, and it needs to be.
Shut your fucking mouth.
It needs to be disavowed.
Shut your fucking mouth, Cuomo.
That's actually the end.
No, Benny did the right thing by not shutting up and just keep talking. Because Cuomo didn't want him to finish that thought because he knew it was going to go and it was going to destroy his position. And Benny was like, no, man, I'm just going to roll with this. I'm going to go.
No, and I will say that's if I am heartened by anything, it is the attitude of the normies that I have seen towards the leftists that have been jumping out of this to try on both sides to do anything. And most of the normies are essentially saying, hey, this shit doesn't work anymore. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. The most heartening thing by far is all the fence sitters, all the normies, all the people who have been otherwise checked out who went, oh, we're done. Got it. Because if there is anything that is going to move this, it's that no one lets up. Okay. And by the way, when I say no one lets up, tone down the rhetoric. Go fuck yourself. Okay.
Go fuck yourself.
Just the end. No more. And look, I know someone will eventually say something that I think, well, that was probably too far. And if we get there, I'll let you know.
By the way, silver's at $41.
Hey, that's I like that news. That's some good news. Holy shit!
Last I saw, it was just at 30. Okay. Anyway, hey guys, I don't know how much more you guys want to talk about with this. I think we could literally go on for hours.
And we have.
And we have. It's 2 hours, 44 minutes as of right now. Let's just go around the horn and we've kind of talked about where we might go with this whole left-wing Charlie Kirk thing. What else in the world is bothering you that let's be honest, nobody's going to fucking think about it for the next probably, let's call it another week.
Let me address something that just came up with the chat. JRH, can you guys go off on a rant about these recharges trying to compare it to the Minnesota state rep that the crazy glowy murked? That guy was hired by Tim Walz. And Tim Walz yesterday came out and said, we need to dial back the rhetoric. He literally paid someone to kill his opposition.
Right.
Look, we haven't proven that yet, although I absolutely believe that it is true. So let's take it for granted that we don't know that he paid him to kill his opposition. This guy was
allegedly.
This guy is literally.
Oh no, I'm gonna say it.
He's been a Democratic creature for his entire career. I mean, their basis for saying he's right wing is he's Christian. How many fucking captured Christian churches do you have on your side at this point? Nobody buys it.
The guy was 100% a left wing activist and always has been. Yeah.
So the shooter was right wing game has begun.
Of course it was. It started day one. I don't give two shits anymore.
Oh no,
like,
no,
nobody
no.
listens to them anymore.
There's a difference after we know who it is. Right? And that difference is we are once again at the final command of the party was to not believe your own eyes.
Don't believe your lying eyes.
That is an absolute requirement of this. All right. So there are different levels of how horrible some of these people are. Okay. And this right here, where's the straight to jail mean? Right? Like, just no more. And by the way, until something else can be done to deal with you, straight to jail. That's it. Just, we get it. It doesn't matter what happens. Well, Charlie Kirk made the world where he was going to get shot and the world where we're going to laugh at him, but you should tone down the rhetoric. No. Oh, by the way, the shooter was right wing. No. There's no too far for them. And you need to understand this.
Yeah, I want to end with two things, and I'm sorry they'll be a little long. You'll enjoy this though. So here's a guy, and I'm not going to play the whole thing. We're just going to say that he decided it would be a great idea to take a TikTok and set himself up with a, the classic debate stand with Charlie Kirk deserved it out in his local place. And again, I'm not watching any of this. The only part I like is somebody pointed out the aftermath, which is people literally fucking took him and threw him and his stand into the fountain.
Very, very,
yeah, very, very
excellent.
But I'm
Smithers get the hounds.
I'm gonna choose to end this in the same way I began it, which is it's never gonna be okay, and you should never calm down.
Yeah.
Joe, any final thoughts?
No, I just want to point out that we saw a nation devolve in about 24 hours in Nepal over social media. Keep in mind, a backlash like that is entirely possible in the United States over this incident.
I mean, it's that was a long time coming, but yeah, you're right. I mean, it shows you how quickly unstable environment can completely devolve. 100%. Derna 2. Oh yeah, I already got him. Peter Shays helicopter tours. I've told the same story. I've told the same story to some before. If not for my father punching me in the face at 16 when I was a piss in the vinegar stage, when I was at that piss and vinegar stage, I would have been a worse off person. Yeah, 100%. I mean, sometimes you got to smack your kids around a little bit.
Yep.
I mean, it's just true. All right, just make sure. Yeah, low key Lark, you're killing it. Thank you, brother, for those gifted memberships. Gentlemen, that's all I got for today. It's a sad week. Charlie, he's the thing that my daughter has told me the most. She goes, Dad, I'm sad, but I just ultimately I can't believe it. It's like it doesn't seem like it's real. It's like this is like one of those things that happens in a dream, and you wake up and you're like, oh, I was dreaming. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, she's right. And it's also one of those things where you don't realize the significance of it. The world has changed over this one incident. We just don't know the final.
We've been doing this future conflict show for 4 years now. 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Going close to 4. Well, actually, 21. It was what, about October of 21, right, Joe? When we did our first show, I think it was.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So we're closing in on 4 years, right? Well, the reason why we were talking about future conflict 4 years ago is not just like we saw Russia coming or we saw all these foreign wars coming. We saw this coming. Now, we couldn't have put our finger on Charlie Kirk, and I'll be honest with you, Charlie Kirk's the last person on the right I would have said that they would go after. But if I looked at the idea, if I put myself in the position of a crazy leftist who said, I want to kill the most effective right-wing personality I can, Charlie Kirk is literally the one that does the most damage. But it also wakes the most people up because there were so many. Charlie Kirk did so much to kind of bring new voters to Trump. He connected with young people in a way that that conservatives rarely do. You know, we usually lose out on the young vote because, well, let's be honest, conservatives aren't very good at reaching out to kids. But Charlie Kirk had that talent, and that made him dangerous. And one of the people who couldn't win the argument by going in front of him with a question decided to try to win the argument with a gun. And in doing so, he lost it for his entire side forever. I get the feeling that the long term will see essentially an extinguishment of the neo-Marxist movement. But the question is, what will that process look like? And I have the deep and disturbing feeling that it will be very dark, very long, and very bloody. And having spent multiple years in war and seeing the corruption and chaos and destruction that a war brings, I don't want to see that come to America. So if I don't like have bloodlust out there, it's not that I'm not angry at the feds or I'm not angry at whatever, because I know what happens to my kids if we get in a situation like that, and it changes their lives and it changes our country for 100 years. So just keep that in mind. All right, guys, that's all I got. Thank you for joining us. We will.
You give me like 4 seconds here. I think I'm going to take a cue from Watcher. And the last thing I have to say is, in fact, the first thing I had to say. Let those who love the Lord hate evil.
Yeah.
Hey, resistance to evil by force. Get on it.
Absolutely. I'm sure Joe has provided a link on X for us all to go click through and put a couple bucks in his pocket. Guys, if you haven't done already, please like the channel, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Let people know you're getting good stuff over here on the Council on Future Conflict. Great turnout today on both outlets. Thank you very much to the new members and the super chats and everything. We will be back as normal on Monday at the same time, talking about who knows what. Hopefully it's good news. It probably won't. But whatever it is, we'll be here. And until then, you guys stay safe.